We are going live in three, two, one.
Good evening, everyone, and good morning to everyone here in Toronto. Good evening to everyone in India. Welcome
Going live
to
in three.
Together 6.0. The Together mission. We're back together again, and we're ready for the championship finals. We've got a great group of people that are joining us today. All of our amazing special guests, our judges. We've got our students that are here from Schulich ready to jump in. And we've got our founders from India, from all the most amazing tech and science schools and programs all across the country. It's always exciting when we come together for this important moment. We've gone through a process over the last month and a half where we've gone from hundreds of applications down to 70 that made the first short list, down to 6 that made the semifinals, and now we're down to the final 3. It's a special moment, this partnership between Schulich, York University, Startup India, and Ekonnect, and all the amazing partners like the Consulate General of India to Toronto that help us out. And we're really excited to be here with you today. We're going live on X with Startup India. We're going live on LinkedIn with the Together Mission account, and we're going live on YouTube with the Schulich School of Business. I'd love to see everybody lively in the chat today. So welcome each other, drop your LinkedIn profiles, share, connect, and most of all, cheer each other on as the competition is unfolding. Lastly, just a quick little note from me. I always like to give a special nod and a special thank you to one of the people who helped to inspire this entire program, the late, great Mr. Tata, who was an inspiration to me in my visit to India back in 2019 in thinking about the bridge between our two countries. Today, I'm excited to have a brand new, amazing co-host for this event, Tanishq from Startup India. He's an assistant manager within the global partnerships team at Startup India, where he leads strategic initiatives across the different various regions. And he's got a lot of energy and a lot of insights to bring to us this morning. Tanishq, welcome. And what are your thoughts as we kick off?
Yeah, hi Chris. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to be here as the co-host for this closing ceremony of the sixth edition of Together. It's such a great initiative to enable young entrepreneurs from India and Canada. I think the past editions are a testimony to the impact that this initiative has created, where more than 2,000 students across India and Canada have received quality support, quality training, and and also just looking at some of the winners from some of the previous editions, such as Climate Labs from last year's edition, with such an innovative solution for climate tech. I think these solutions are just, they set themselves apart as they're for the benefit of the whole society. And it feels great to be associated with this program that brings such solutions to everyone's highlight to the market. So thank you for having me here, and I'm looking forward to today's session.
Yeah, Tanish, thank you for being here with us. And also, just to say that you're right to bring up the past winners. It's so amazing to always see these like one pagers that we get and these raw videos that come in from people with their ideas and their concepts. And then we get to see them come back years later in the opening ceremonies and report in on their stories and their adventures. And they have whole factories and businesses and raising money and doing amazing things. But these are the
Yeah.
moments where we get to know them in the inception stage. I love that, getting a first chat a first cheer emoji coming out. Come on, let's get active there and cheer everybody on. That's good. Let's get into it this morning and have some fun together. Well, we want to say thank you to our supporters, the Consulate General of India to Toronto, Ekonnect, who helped us kick off in the opening ceremonies in such wonderful fashion, Startup India and the City of Toronto, and especially a warm welcome to our friends from Friends of Bada this morning who have joined our community supporters group, and you'll be hearing a lot more from them as we go along. We have a special keynote from Thomas Archer Bada, and then we also have the prize that we're announcing, the first place prize that they've so generously supported this year. A shout out as well to all of our different partners and supporters who make this all possible. Special shout out as well to all the students from the Together Mission class that are part of the MBA program, part of the MBA in Technology Leadership, part of the BBA program at the school have put their time and their energy and their efforts into supporting the companies, not only as they prepared throughout the term with their training with their instructor, Vanessa Remantilla, but also as they went in all week this week on double time zones, making sure that they were supporting their teams and getting them ready for the final pitch. We want to give a nice shout out to our mentors from Canada who have been working all throughout the week with their teams, and the mentors from India as well too. Many of them are joining us here today as well. And with that, we're going to welcome our first special guest. Today, it's my honor to introduce Mr. Sanjeev Singh, Joint Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Mr. Singh, Joint Secretary in the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, is an IRS officer of the 1993 batch. As part of his present assignment, he heads up Startup India initiative and is committed to building India into a world-class startup ecosystem. In addition to this, he is also looking after various other divisions within the department, namely consumer industry, internal trade, and e-commerce, research and analysis wing, project development cells, productivity improvement, light engineering industry as well. And we're so honored and pleased to have him here with us this evening in India, this morning in Toronto. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening from New Delhi and good morning to our friends in Toronto. It's a pleasure to join all of you at the closing ceremony of Together 6.0, a wonderful initiative that truly brings together ideas, innovation, and intent across borders. I extend my warmest greetings to the mentors, partners, and especially the young entrepreneurs from India and Canada who have been part of the inspiring journey. Together is more than just a name. It's a mindset. It shows what can happen when passionate young minds come together to solve global challenges. This collaboration between Startup India, DPIT, Schulich School of Business, Ekonnect, and the Consulate General of India in Toronto has connected bright students, innovators, and mentors from both countries to co-create solutions that are sustainable, scalable, and socially meaningful. You all represent the true spirit of, as we say in Hindi, Navachar or Sahyog, innovation and collaboration, the twin engines that drive today's entrepreneurship. Over the years, India has grown to be the fourth largest economy and the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, with innovation emerging not just from major metros, but 52% from Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns, university campuses, and small villages. Institutional programs such as Together are the bridge for bringing India's scale and energy together with Canada's structure and mentorship. Since its inception, the Together program has seen hundreds of student entrepreneurs pass through its bootcamp, venture competitions, and mentorship rounds. The students, your peers, friends, seniors have proved their mettle, gone on to build startups, raise funding, solve problems, and capture new markets. What started in 2021 as a competition for promoting joint innovation has now become the actual launch pad for future global innovators. The partnership has grown multifold and now successfully completed 5 editions. More than 2,000 students have been trained. Over 100 meaningful connections established with global innovation leaders, offering more than 500 hours of mentorship. And there have been many success stories like Sandbird from Chennai that designs eco-friendly farming equipment, a champion of Together, a champion of Together 5.0 and received USD 5,000 through the program. These are just a few stories to give you an idea of the kind of impact this initiative has on young startups and ideas. With the launch of the 6th edition, this has been one of the longest running startup program between India and Canada. Together movement has spread massively in India. We received about 96 applications from 22 states and 3 union territories of India across 40 plus sectors. Programs like Together prove that innovation thrives when knowledge crosses borders. When students collaborate with Indian founders, they bring fresh perspectives, diverse experience, and shared purpose. And every partnership like this strengthens the bridge of trust and understanding between India and Canada. I would like here to thank Mr. Dinesh K. Patnaik, High Commissioner of India, Canada, and Mr. Christopher Cooter, High Commissioner of Canada, India, for championing such cross-border dialogues on sustainability and impact. My heartfelt thanks to Schulich School of Business and to all the mentors, judges, partners, and sponsors whose dedication and guidance make this program a continued success year after year. I will request all participants to connect with us through various social media like LinkedIn also. Startup India is there. I am also available on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect. And as a closing thoughts, I will say to all the young founders here, remember every big company once started as a small, brave idea. Every great dream begins with small steps. Keep taking those steps, keep experimenting, keep failing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. You are not just building startups, you are building confidence, capability, connection between two nations. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. I believe there's a great message in what sir just said in building these global ties and building these global bridges for exchange of ideas, resources, and just connecting with one another, helping one another out across all different stages. So I think there's a great message in there. I hope this inspires everyone to keep the spirit of collaboration alive amongst India and Canada. And I hope we see some great collaborations in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you both. And as we move along, next up, we're excited to welcome Dr. Rhonda Lenton, President and Vice Chancellor of York University. Dr. Lenton became York University's 8th President and Vice Chancellor on July 1st, 2017. And in addition to all of her many endeavors and initiatives to bring the next wave of innovation and growth to the university, she spent quite a bit of time working with our partners in India as well. And I know has such great regard for the partnership between our two countries and between our organizations. Dr. Lenton, welcome this morning.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Having a little bit of trouble with my video this morning, so I'm using a couple of technologies, but I'm really glad that I could join you. This is such an amazing initiative. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour, bonjour, namaste. I'm really delighted to be here with all of you to celebrate the bold student entrepreneurs who are shaping the future of tomorrow's innovation ecosystem. Before I begin, I also just want a moment to acknowledge a few special guests and individuals who are incredibly supportive of this initiative. Sanjeev Singh, the Joint Secretary at the Department for Promotion of Industries and International Trade, Government of India, Dinesh Patnaik, High Commission of India to Canada, and Christopher Cooter, High Commissioner of Canada to India. You know, this Together mission is, people often say that things are unique, but this is a truly unique collaboration, bringing together the energy of India's emerging entrepreneurs with the expertise and the global networks of York University and our partners. The pace and complexity of current global problems require us to think broadly and to work collaboratively to unite diverse countries, governments, industries, and higher education partners in the pursuit of knowledge sharing and capacity building. At York, we believe that any impactful partnership must support real work on the ground by nurturing talent and creating pathways for meaningful innovation that transcends borders, disciplines, and sectors. The Together mission exemplifies this by bringing together student entrepreneurs, senior industry experts, and world-class trainers with the support of champions in government and industry across both India and Canada. This initiative has grown into a platform for young people to engage with some of the most pressing challenges of our time, including climate change, as demonstrated by last year's 10K winner, Climate Labs, a climate tech startup based in Chennai, India. Over the years, York has both elevated its leadership in socially responsible innovation through dynamic hubs like Y-Space, which has supported over 1,400 ventures, including more than 400 new ventures in the past year alone, and also strengthened its partnerships with eminent institutions across the world, particularly in India. We have a long history of collaborating with India, whether by catering the thousands of Indian students across our campuses, working alongside Schulich India Advisory Council, or by visiting India to meet with our partners, including prominent leaders in education and industry. For example, we have partnered with OP Jindal Global University to enrich the student experience in both India and Canada, contributed to global entrepreneurship ecosystems through several York-based entrepreneurship incubators and accelerators, and supported international research collaborations through many venues, including through our Global Research Excellence Fund, which is partnering with leading Indian institutions like the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, IIM, ISB, and SRM, just to name a few. As we work to find new solutions to address complex global issues, contributing to innovation and entrepreneurship has never been more critical. And so I am delighted that we have the opportunity to collaborate on an initiative that both strengthens global collaborations and promotes sustainable entrepreneurship. Before I close, I just want to express how proud I am of all of the student entrepreneurs who took this competition as an opportunity to not only pitch creative business ideas, but also to demonstrate global citizenship and ethical leadership. Congratulations to each and every one of you on what you have achieved. On behalf of York University, thank you to all of our partners, including Startup India, Government of India, the High Commission of India, Ottawa, the High Commission of Canada, New Delhi, the Consulate General of India, Toronto, and Ekonnect, as well as all of our organizers, participants, mentors, and sponsors for helping create exactly the kind of opportunity that the world urgently needs. My best wishes to all of you and good luck to the competitors. Thank you so much. Merci, miigwech, namaste.
Thank you so much for that, Rhonda. I think I think there's some great work being done in connecting the ecosystems and especially the student bodies of both India and Canada. I think, as you highlighted, some great examples of great partnerships in some of the best Indian and Canadian B schools. And also, as you said, I think we should be supporting these social impact startups as they address these critical societal challenges from healthcare access to environmental sustainability while building scalable and sustainable business models that create lasting change beyond traditional means. So supporting these ventures really unlocks innovation in underserved communities, generates employment, and builds resilient ecosystems. and it also creates talent to solve real world problems. So thank you so much for all your support in this initiative. Thank you.
Thanks again for being with us, Dr. Lenton, and for all your support for both the Together Mission program and all our work in entrepreneurship across the university. Well, next up, we're going to have someone who's been a dear friend to the program and has really leaned in and helped us over the last couple of years. You got to know him as the co-host in the opening ceremonies, Dr. Prasad Modak, who is Managing Director of Environmental Management Center Private Limited, and he's been a key team member, and I'm so thrilled to have him back, to welcome him to the stage. Dr. Prasad, thank you for being
Thank
here with
you.
us, and love hearing your thoughts.
Thank you, Chris. It's always a great pleasure to participate in this wonderful initiative. And I've always been talking about it. That's a great experiment. And each time I find it's building up more and more and create more and more impact. I would therefore say that I think all of you here, the entrepreneurs, I'm sure you have enjoyed the boot camp. Must be a great experience to you. And I think you will keep messaging as we go to Together 7.0 to get more and more entrepreneurs coming in and participating in this program. One thought I thought that I should bring it up here, Chris, is while we innovate, and I think there's something great, and we have to also look at the impact of the innovations that we create. And sometimes these impacts obviously are very positive, they help, but over a long time, there are situations where innovations can also lead to some disruptions. We call this category of innovations as responsible innovations. And I would urge that all of us entrepreneurs here today, and also the sponsors to these entrepreneurs, look at the responsible innovation component, which is very critical today. And there have been many great innovations that we see around have really led to very positive impacts. But we do have situations where we find that the innovations could have been more socially oriented in some sense, be it employment or be it also creating a stress on the resources, or in some cases also people losing employment. So that's my message to all of you here. And think, be always innovative, think big, definitely, but also keep the responsible part of innovation in your mind in any of the business models that you will create. Thank you so much, Chris, again for inviting me. It's always been a pleasure. And I look forward to Together 7.0.
Yep. Thank you so much for your great words, Dr. Prasad. As he very rightly said, we should all support responsible innovation, responsible business models as they build trust in technology. They help serve underserved, they help in reaching out to underserved communities, uh, preventing costly failures as well, and create an competitive advantage by anticipating societal needs and embedding sustainability into products. So these are things I think we should all keep in mind, and I hope it's a great learning opportunity for our participants as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you both again. And now, as we move along, we want to just note a special thank you to the High Commissioner of India to Canada, Mr. Dinesh Patnaik. And he's been a big supporter, and the whole office has been a big supporter of the program. He's unfortunately quite sick this morning, and so unable to join us, but sent us a very lovely note with his kindest regards and best wishes for the morning. And we hope he'll be back in action and recovered very soon. Next up, Shrey and I will be sharing a video from the High Commissioner of Canada to India, Mr. Christopher Cooter. And Shrey, let's play the video and hear his words today.
I just need to fetch the video. Give me a few seconds.
No problem. And while you're doing that, I'll just chat with Tanishq here for a moment. We're doing well. We're moving along. Everything's in good order. The guests are bright and
Yeah,
shiny this
everything
morning. How are you feeling so far?
Yeah, all good. I'm really excited for this event and looking forward to our participants starting their pitching very soon. Also very excited to hear from our judges and some of our mentors also later on. So really just looking forward.
I know you were saying earlier this morning, or this evening for yourself, you were talking about how you had gone back and looked at some of the earlier Together Mission videos on YouTube. And for anyone out there that's interested, we've recorded all of them and they're out there available to go look back right to the very beginning to Together Mission 1.0. All right, Shrey, looks like we're up with the video now. So I'll turn it over to you. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm gonna play it. Let me know if everybody hears it.
No audio, Shrey.
No audio.
Important junction in the Canada.
Now we're good.
Hi, everybody. It's fantastic to be here with you today at the Together Mission. This event comes at an important junction in the Canada-India relationship, and in my view, entrepreneurs and innovators will be key in moving things forward. I understand that Together Mission has already connected over 2,000 student entrepreneurs from India and Canada, and that's huge. It's not just about startups. It's about friendships, ideas, and ventures that cross borders and create real impact. Earlier this month, our foreign ministers, Anita Anand from Canada and Dr. Jay Shankar from India, released a joint statement that's all about renewing momentum in our partnership. Most relevant to you is that innovation, science, and technology are right at the center of it. While you're focused on innovating and creating the companies that will drive this economic relationship, my job is to help create an enabling environment that makes collaboration between Canada and India easier. And here are a few things I think you'll find exciting. First, we're bringing back the Canada-India Science and Tech Committee. That means more collaboration, more research, and more opportunities for people like you to work across borders on cutting-edge ideas, especially in areas like AI and digital infrastructure. Canada's AI companies and researchers are being invited to India's AI Impact Summit next February. So if you're working on AI, this is your moment. We want to see Canadian and Indian talent teaming up to solve real-world problems. We're also doubling down on clean energy and climate. And they aren't just buzzwords. They're areas where startups can thrive and where Canada and India are looking to invest and to collaborate. And let's talk about education. We're expanding academic partnerships and encouraging joint research in cybersecurity, in fintech, and more. Canadian universities are even exploring campuses in India. That's a big deal, and it means more access, more exchange, and more innovation. On the business side, we're reviving the Canada-India CEO Forum to help drive trade and investment by engaging the most senior members of our business communities. Together Mission is proof that when young innovators from Canada and from India come together, amazing things can happen. You're not just participating in a program, you are shaping the future of our bilateral relationship. So keep pushing boundaries, keep asking bold questions, keep building things that matter. Canada is proud to be your partner on this journey. Thanks for having me, and I can't wait to see what you all create next. Dhanyavad.
Tanishq, your thoughts?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was just really great to hear, the renewal, of India's and Canada's relationship, and also, what, our governments are planning with each other in strengthening the ecosystem and strengthening the collaborations between the two ecosystems. Canada has, of course, emerged as a global AI powerhouse, and all anchored by world-class research institutions, talent pipelines, and also strategic investments, and also partnering with Canada, helping Indian entrepreneurs get access to that Canadian powerhouse is going to be great, I believe. So I think the future is really bright in the mutual collaborations between the two nations. So it was a great message, and I hope we see great impact soon.
Thanks. Very well said. Now, you may be wondering, you heard High Commissioner Cooter talk about the more than 2,000 students that have been supported through the program, and it's a very accurate number. Now this year will be well beyond that after counting these numbers. And one of the key things in terms of like reaching out and connecting with that many students is to have partners who help out with that process. And next up, we're going to introduce one of those partners, Sanket Lahoti, who's an investment partner at Campus Fund, Asia's first and only student-led VC backing student founders. And this year, we're excited to partner with Campus Fund to empower and support student entrepreneurship in India. Sanket, welcome, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me here. Hey, folks, this is Sanket. I'm one of the investment partners at Campus Fund. What started off 5 years ago with just $1 million check to invest in student founders. We actually experimented if student entrepreneurship really worked in India. What we figured out that there is ample amount of talent. There's so much hunger amongst these students. So we started off with $1 million fund. Backing with just 50 lakhs of max ticket size. We backed about 7 founders, and these were founders who were from not the most established universities in India. So not your tier 1 IITs or IIMs, but probably from the tier 2 universities. I can probably speak about one of them. It was called Digantra, one of our first investments, first few investments that we made. Founders from lovely professional university and RV College of Engineering built Google Maps for space, basically, building the space tech infra for future space operations. Went on to raise their Series B just now, about $50 million, so on and so forth. And in that light, what we saw was that a lot of hunger, a lot of talent actually resided in so many of these universities, but lacked the infrastructure or the support very early on to sort of help them grow into large organizations. And that's where we came up with Campus Fund as a fund strictly focused to invest in student founders. So far in this journey, we've been able to back about 39 such bold founders. We've launched the largest student entrepreneurship student fund for investing in student founders. So we've grown from $1 million in terms of just the corpus to invest in student founders to a couple of months back, we launched our largest ever fund, $100 million to back student founders. Super excited about this opportunity. Through this partnership, we're sort of aiming to look at global talent, look at so many university students who could benefit from what we are doing on ground with respect to students. Through this, we're creating a culture of sorts where starting a company when you're in university, capital should be no constraint. Obviously, we're selective on who we invest in because we're also answerable to our LPs on one side, but we broadly want to build this infrastructure layer so that it becomes more and more simple to sort of launch startups in campuses. These could be deep tech ventures, space tech, etc., for sector agnostic in that sense. So we're very excited to be a part of this, to partner with programs such as this. A lot of students do get a lot of exposure because they take partnership. They take participation in all of these things. One thing that we're even though Campus Fund, if say we do not invest in startups, what we do push most of our founders who even apply to us is to take part in more of such things. It just opens and sort of broadens your mindset as you speak to more and more people very early on, right? And that's something that we want to enable through this partnership as well. So it's broadly about us, Chris. And if you'd like me to add something else, I think that's a good introduction.
Thank you for that, Sanket. I think enabling student entrepreneurship is definitely the key to unlocking, large-scale innovation. India has definitely experienced this transformative surge in student entrepreneurship, which is driven by access to technology and just a culture shift towards innovation, which I myself have also seen firsthand in college. So I used to see my, seniors aiming to get placed into these large corporates, whereas I've seen my juniors really being focused on, joining startups and building their own startups maybe as well. So this culture shift towards innovation, towards entrepreneurship is, I think, what's really driving this surge in India. And initiatives such as yours really helps in supporting them and bringing out the best in them. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the ecosystem.
Thank you.
Thanks again, and greatly appreciate our partnership and all the help that you provided in Together 6.0. So next up, we have my friend Shrag Shah, who is the president of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. And Shrag describes himself as a young technocrat who has rapidly scaled peaks of technological achievements by constantly striving to serve clients beyond their expectations. His information technology company, Subtext Solutions Inc., focuses on adopting innovative approaches to his clients' needs. And if you know one thing about him, as I know about him, he is one of the most deeply committed and passionate individuals in the country of Canada about the bridge between India and Canada. I always love seeing him in person at our events. And Sharag, it's great to see you here today, and I'm looking forward to your words.
Likewise, Chris. Thank you so much for such a generous introduction. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. First of all, wishing you and your loved ones very happy Diwali. May this occasion bring prosperity, innovation, and renewed energy to all. Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, I'm not sure how much people aware about Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, but let me brief you on that. Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce is a 48-year-old organization which promotes the trade between India and Canada. We do various events throughout the year to promote the entrepreneurship and especially the SME sector. Amid the global headwinds and trade realignments, I see a big opportunity between Canada and India partnership, which will, especially in the field of startups and entrepreneurship. The joint trade roadmap, which recently agreed between Canada and India, commits to a deeper collaboration in trade, technology, clean energy, supply chain, and innovation ecosystem. India offers a great talent and mass market. Canada is known for its research, innovation, and access to the global market. So let's join hands together and create a solution which work for the global. Looking ahead, I believe the next phase of Canada-India collaboration in entrepreneurship will center on global scale-ups, deep tech, including AI, education industry linkages, and cross-border incubations and accelerator. With the vibrant Indian diaspora in Canada, alongside growing institution interest, we all are well positioned to build the ventures that are born Canada, made for India, and vice versa. As we light the diyas of Diwali, we not only illuminate our homes, but also symbolically light the way for new ventures, collaborations, and shared growth between Canada and India. Let's honor the spirit of innovation and partnership. Wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, sir. And thank you for reaffirming the belief in, the partnership potential between India and Canada, combining Canada's deep research, expertise, access to, larger markets, and also access to Canada's, robust venture capital ecosystem, and merging that with India's scale, India's talent, to enable, creating global solutions that will become global leaders. So thank you so much for your trust.
Thank you both. And now it is the moment that we've been waiting for. It's the moment of the competition itself. Thanks to everyone who joined as special guests to share their kind words and wishes for the competitors today and to share their thoughts and perspectives on the startup bridge between our two countries. Well, let me quickly introduce our judges. First up, we have Naaman Badeo, who is a partner at Antler Canada. Naaman has founded multiple businesses in travel technology, including Flight Network and TripStack, and he's currently working in the early stage VC space through Antler, which is building the next big wave of tech in Canada. For those of you who are from India, maybe you've heard about FlightNetwork.com, but it was one of Canada's largest online travel agencies, still is. Flight Network's team of over 600 people in 7 offices, utilizing technology and a superior online user experience to generate over 1 billion in sales a year to millions of customers, and it was acquired in 2019 by a Swedish-based firm. Naaman has been a regular on the judging panel, and we're excited to have him back with us to ask his key questions and to see what he thinks about this year's companies. Next up, I'm going to introduce Upasana Sharma. Upasana is a true trailblazer and a dynamic entrepreneur. She is the president of TIE Toronto and the managing director of TIE Toronto's startup visa program. She's a mainstay, and I don't know how she keeps up the schedule, but every single event that you go to in the city, she is there, smiling, connecting with people, building bridges, building new relationships. She's an expert in the Canadian startup visa program and has successfully launched several global startups in the Canadian market as well. She's also the co-managing partner at Tangentia Ventures, a designated venture capital group under the Canada Startup Visa Program, and alongside the team at TIE Toronto and Tangentia has been an incredible partner to us over many years. And this is her first time appearing as a judge in the Together mission, and I'm excited to see her in action. Next up, we have our third and final judge, Mr. Ankur Jain, founder of Hostel Fund, who has been a key partner to us in so many ways from the very first day. He jumped into the first Together mission, and he has been a person who has helped to spread the word, connect with companies, and he's been a judge bringing his insights here. And I love having him with his questions and his incisive look at what these businesses are and what they need. Mr. Jain has over 17 years of expertise in sales, marketing, and business development. Currently the co-founder and CBO of Sunstone Eduversities and responsible for the expansion into new geographies and for onboarding more campus and corporate partners for the brand. He has extensive experience in handling growth and expansion for startups as well as for larger corporations. Welcome, judges. Are you ready to rock today and to do your thing?
Absolutely, we are ready.
Excellent. Love it. All right. Now, here we are in the championship finals. And just to remind everyone how it works, there'll be 6 minutes for the presentation. Teams, I will count you in with a 3, 2, 1 and go. And then away you go. I'll be timing you. I will, if we hit the 6-minute mark, I will cut you off and you'll have to work any final points into the questions that come and your answers for the judges. There'll be 10 minutes of questions. And judges, I will throw to you in rotation. So I'll call the first judge and then we'll pass along. We'll go Naaman, Upasana, Ankur, just like we did the introductions, and we'll stay in rotation throughout as we go through. Let's meet the companies, starting with company number 1, and we're bringing forward Maine Electric. Let me get my stopwatch ready to go.
So do you want to share your screen first?
Yes. Is my screen visible?
I think it started sharing, but hasn't fully clicked in yet.
Not yet.
There we go. All right.
Great.
Team, I'm going to...
Please let me know when I can start.
Yes, I'm going to count you in 3, 2, 1, go.
Everyone, I'm Stuti. With me is Priyansh. We are the co-founders of Mind Electric. And we are solving the $500 billion problem of low-cost, long-duration energy storage, which is one of the biggest challenges in the global energy transition today to get to 100% renewable grids. Over the last decade, we have added solar and wind energy to our grids faster than any other source of electricity in history. But these renewables are intermittent, which means for them to truly replace our traditional fossil fuel assets, we need to make them reliable and round the clock. And the problem is no longer clean energy generation, it is storage. Every over 8 terawatt hours of clean renewable power is curtailed, which means simply wasted because we couldn't store it effectively. Grid instability is rising with every gigawatt of renewable added, forcing the grid operators to rely even more heavily on fossil fuel. The result, over $540 billion in global economic losses. The grid today lacks a reliable and affordable way to shift excess renewable energy from generation peak to peak demand hours. Everyone is building here for short duration storage, but we need storage that lasts longer. And that's where we decided to focus by building iron air batteries. This is one of the fastest growing opportunities in the energy industry. The LDS market is expected to grow from $25 billion today to nearly $900 billion by 2040. Very akin to investing in data centers in the early 90s, but for energy. And beyond market size, the impact potential is huge. LDS can prevent 2.3 gigatons of CO2 emissions and enable affordable and equitable energy access for billions of people. We are also the only company building iron air batteries, not just in India, but entire APAC region, which is also the largest and the fastest growing renewables market in the world. While our peers like Form and Ore Energy are focused on wind heavy grids in US and Europe, we are optimizing the technology for solar dominant APAC grids by enabling its faster charging. And ultimately, what we are building is the cheapest electrochemical store of energy. And this is how a deployable battery will look like, a compact, containerized, turnkey solution. Iron air batteries work with a simple reversible rust reaction, that is rusting and derusting iron to charge and discharge. And two things matter the most in the energy industry, cost and reliability. Iron air delivers on both. Our solution is one cost of lithium ion and can reliably provide multi-day and multi-week backup. It is also scalable, built with abundant materials, and safe with zero fire risk. And iron air wins on cost among all other emerging technologies. The only comparable alternative is pumped hydro, which needs millions in civil works, takes years to build, and is very geography limited, whereas our solution is modular and deployable anywhere. We have spent the last 3.5 years working at a material science level, advancing from our single cell proto to our 1 kilowatt system, which will go live in December. And we have built all this in our own 4,000 square feet R&D facility with batch production capabilities. We hold 4 patents which are granted, 7 filed, and 28 more in the pipeline, all developed by our team, which has 75% engineering talent. And while iron chemistry in general has existed since 1960s, we have made two key innovations, the Orca system and our proprietary air electrode, that make it viable for commercial deployments today. I'd be happy to dive deeper on the technology during the Q&A. Overall, this is our team of 18 researchers, engineers, and energy sector professionals with decades of experience. Priyansh has been building clean energy technologies since college, from hydrogen fuel cells and VRF batteries to metal air systems. And I bring deep energy and finance expertise from my time during BCG. And together we have raised around 85K in grants supported by organizations like IRENA, NASCOM, and of course the brilliant Schulich Business School team. Finally, why do our customers care? Because iron air directly improves their bottom line and helps them decarbonize. For CNI customers like data centers and captive power plants and steel and cement industry, we replace the diesel and gas backup, enabling 100% renewable operation with least energy cost. For independent power producers, we prevent revenue loss due to curtailment and unlock a very new revenue stream as well, that is firm capacity contracts. And for grid operators, we provide long duration reserve that improves the grid flexibility. And among these, the CNI is our immediate entry point to prove the technology and its bankability. We are already working with some of the top names like Baker Hughes, Shell, and Luminous, and we have a 5 kilowatt pilot already confirmed. We have multiple others in our commercial engagement pipeline as well, built with a combination of our professional network and our engagement with the industry. And finally, our business model will evolve in two phases. We start with a capex model where we sell the hardware and earn recurring revenue through a long-term service agreement, yielding 38% lifetime gross margin. And in 5 years, we also add energy as a service business model where we essentially build, own, and operate the storage plants ourselves and enter firm capacity-based contracts with the utilities, essentially achieving break-even in 7 years on a 20-year asset. And previously, we have raised 725K in pre-seed funding led by marquee investors like Antler. Now we'll be raising 3 million in seed capital to scale our tech, build our battery kits, and deploy the pilots. To sum it up, at Mine Electric, we are not just about building batteries. We are essentially building the foundational energy infrastructure of a future with limitless renewable energy. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions. I'm sorry if I just have a slight bad throat today.
Hey, you came in 10 seconds under time, so very well done. And now I'm going to kick off the 10-minute tracker and throw to Naaman for the first question.
Well, Stuti, a great presentation, and I didn't know Antler India had invested in you. That's fantastic. My question is on the the iron air technology, which is really interesting. Your patents are interested. What is the unique insight in the technology that you've discovered? That nobody else had done before. That's part of I'm trying to understand.
Sure, Naman. I'll take this question up. So, Naman, when we started looking at iron air batteries, we realized that, yeah, it's extremely good for long duration energy storage. The levelized cost of storage is also pretty low. But we also realized a very interesting thing. Where are the batteries being deployed today? The batteries are currently being deployed in the North American utilities market and the European utilities market, which are usually wind dominated. So the backup duration being given by these batteries is 100 hours. So essentially taking into account hurricane seasons, taking into account the long winter dislodge with the renewables in these markets. But we are building this for the APAC region. So the first thing that we did was, what does the APAC region need? So we started out by reaching out to customers and we asked them, what's the long duration energy storage grid stability marquee that you need? And we realized it's between 18 and 24 hours of discharge. Fundamentally, iron air batteries do not charge and discharge very fast. Their C rates are C by 75. So 75 hours for charging, 75 hours for discharge. We had to come up with a way to make it fast charge and discharge. Can it charge in 12 hours? Can it discharge for 24 hours continuously? So that was achieved by our ORCA system, which is the oxygen redox coupled architecture. That's a patented rechargeable metal layer system where we essentially decouple the charging and discharging, and we are able to charge and discharge around 5x faster than our competitors and peers at Form Energy and Ore Energy. Second part of our moat is our proprietary air electrode. Now, anyone who's building metal air chemistry, they need to make this air electrode because this is essentially the air part of the overall cell. So it's an artificial lung. There are 7 companies in the world which can develop this in-house, which does include Form and Ore, and now it includes us. What we have done better is we are able to match the global performance of TrueMoney, which is a Chinese conglomerate, and we are able to do that at 1/7 the cost of that cathode, because we were able to develop the whole synthesis procedure from ground up and add to it a electrocatalyst which does not use any heavy earth metals and match the performance of platinum on carbon electrocatalyst. All of this combined gave us a system which is actually deployable in APAC, because no one requires 75 and 100 hours of backup today. What they require is a asset which can cycle faster and is essentially a heavy cycle asset. That's what we did with our iron air batteries. That's where the core of our moat also lies. Deployable for our 5 big markets, which is India, Japan, Australia, Indonesia, and Vietnam for the next 5 years at least.
Okay, great. One more question before I pass it on. You mentioned, I believe, that you're starting a pilot soon. Maybe talk about the sales cycle, what challenges you're finding, or is this, are you finding a huge demand for this from customers?
Sure. So if you could just shift to the commercial pipeline. So we are finding huge demand for this solution. The reason why we have distributed this into phases, which is phase 1 with C&I customers, and then phase 2 with actual grid operators and utilities, is because the utilities require bankability of the batteries. And bankability only comes after pilot deployments, and it is 3 to 4 years of proof points of the battery in the market. This is something we saw with VFR batteries in China. This is something we saw with lithium-ion batteries across the globe. So we have a huge demand from C&I customers and captive power plants to replace the diesel and natural gas generators. That's where our first pilots are also coming through. These are with small C&I customers who are requiring 5 to 10 kilowatt of deployment. And we have divided this into two deployments. One is a 5 kilowatt deployment, which proves our C&I use case of replacing diesel generator. And second is a customer who is a small IPP. So we can prove the energy as a service model also, just to show that it works. So there's a 5 kilowatt and a 10 kilowatt deployment coming up pretty soon. We have developed a very good pipeline of actual leads. So if you could move on to the next slide. Baker Hughes and Shell are signed programs that we already have. Baker Hughes is again one of the biggest EPCs in the world. They are again enabling C&I customers and the gas operations around the world. We are working with them to maybe replace diesel generators for them. Shell, we are in the E4 program. They are evaluating us for investment for the seed round. Also as a deployment for the C&I customers. Luminous, one of the biggest Indian companies under the Schneider Group. We are working with them to see if they also have an interest in replacing diesel generators for the C&I clients by not just selling them small VRLA or lithium-ion batteries, but also selling them long-duration iron air batteries. JSW, NTPC, Exide, Google, JLL are all part of the pipeline.
Great, thank you. Chris, I'll pass it to fellow judges.
Yep. Next question, Apasana.
Perfect. Thank you. Great presentation, Stuti. You were on time, and it doesn't look like you have a bad throat. You sounded perfect to us. I'm going to pick up a segue from Naman's question. You were just answering about the pilots. Can you just take me a little bit more and explain me what is your go-to-market plan to convert these early pilots into commercial contracts at scale?
Sure. The simple part is we understand what's the value chain in this industry. There are obviously discoms and grid operators on the top. There are IPPs in the middle, and then there are C&I and EPC customers on the bottom. So we are taking the customers which have the least barrier to entry, which are EPCs and C&I customers. And how we are approaching them is, we know our ideal customer is going to be IPPs, but to approach them directly on day one, it's very hard. So the approach which we are taking is through EPC and C&I track, where we approach them through the CTO, VP of Engineering, strategy head. This is exactly what we saw with Baker Hughes. This is exactly what we saw with JLL. Then we undergo the technical evaluation. That's the phase we are in right now with almost all our conversations, where we are giving them day-to-day data on how our cells are running. And once the 1 kilowatt unit is up and running with the grid connected to the grid, we are going to be giving them lifetime data for at least 3 months of running the battery at 1 kilowatt level. Post that, there's the MOU, the pilot project, co-branding of case studies, IPP customer engagement, and finally the IPP customer or any other customer buy-in. So that's the GTM strategy that we're taking into account. And again, the value chain is first we approach EPCs and C&I, prove some pilots, then go to IPPs, and then finally, as a energy as a service / build on operate model, approach discoms for direct PSP type contracts.
Perfect. Thank Priyansh. That was a very detailed answer. Go ahead, Stuti.
Just to add on to a little bit more about how these engagements look like, what we are also doing is taking our clients' data, be it the cost of running diesel generators or the amount they are paying in terms of, carbon penalties for some of the clients based in Europe and advanced markets, and taking their data to show if they had an iron air establishment with the same parameters, how much more revenue or how much more carbon emission reduction they would do. So this is just an example of a case study we did with JSW, who have very recently put a 4-hour backup lithium-ion plant, and they are expected to make 42 million in NPV in the 10-year lifetime. In the same project, keeping everything else same, had they put an iron air battery, instead of 4 hours, they would have got a 24 hours backup, which is 6x capacity. So essentially, their NPV would have, increased from 42 to 97, enabling them to make a 16% IRR. So all of these conversations we are doing to make a very straightforward business case for all our customers, which is increase your revenue, reduce your energy cost, and of course, decarbonize as well.
Perfect. So they actually have a follow-up question on the data points you were giving me right now. I think so in one of the slides, you also mentioned somewhere that there is 30% lifetime gross margin for you. Can you explain me what are the biggest cost drivers in your stack today? And also what needs to happen to reach the industrial scale profitability for you guys?
So this 38% lifetime gross revenue is on a per skate basis. One skate will have a capacity of 40 kilowatt or 1 megawatt hour. And the model is pretty simple. One is our immediate revenue margin of 21% on just the capex or hardware deployment, where essentially we build the batteries and we deploy and commission it at the client side. The other aspect of the revenue is the service agreement, which spans across the project lifetime. So it can be as low as 5 years for small C&I customers and as high as 20 years, which is the overall expected lifetime of the RNA batteries that we expect as per the current data we have. So combining the lifetime revenue and cost, this is the blended margin that we get in this particular model. In terms of the breakup of the cost itself, essentially there are like 3-4 major parts of the breakdown for any key technology. One is of course the core chemistry cost, which is just the basic raw materials, the anode, cathode, electrolyte, and in that we are significantly cheaper. So if we just look at this breakdown, this is our iron air batteries vis-a-vis the lithium ion battery stack. So in lithium batteries, $210 is just for the core chemistry, whereas for us it is $10. Reason for that is we are using very cheap and abundant materials. Our main working material is iron ore, which is cheap and abundant everywhere. The other electrode is essentially air, which is free, and we have a very basic electrolyte, which is 80% water. So the core chemistry cost is significantly reduced. Where the cost adds up is on the electrical and structural balance of system. So essentially the electronic suite, inverters, etc., which is pretty standard for any battery technology, responsible for basically making the connection with the end user or the grid as well as our batteries. And second is of course structural systems, installation, etc. So all in all, still our deployed cost to the customer at the end, including everything, taxes, profit, etc., still comes to around $41 per unit, which is almost 1/10 to that of lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, and thank you. That's the 10 minutes. Now, Ankur, I'm going to go in the next presentation. I'm coming to you first, so you're going to kick off, and we're going to make sure you get right in there to start off the next one. All right, judges, take your time, do your scores, and we're going to have Tanishq and I are going to have a quick chat while you're doing that. Good job, first team. Hey, Tanishq, let's chat and hang out while the judges do their thing. We're going to give them 3 minutes just to get everything squared away. So, the Indian startup ecosystem has really been growing tremendously over the past decade. India has become a true startup superpower, and it's amazing with all the announcements coming up that Startup India and the government of India are putting forward in this space. Share with me some of your thoughts on where both Startup India and the ecosystem, where you see it headed now in this next number of years and decade ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Chris. That's a great question, first of all. So what's currently happening in India is that we're starting to see a significant amount of exits. So the first wave of startups that really started this wave are now, listing themselves as public companies on the stock exchange, or also maybe exiting through mergers or acquisitions. And what this is doing is that it is recycling the resources into the ecosystem to provide the necessary resources for the next generation of startups in India to take flight. So that it's sort of kicking up the ecosystem flywheel, as some people call it. So the the money that was invested in these startups gets freed up. The investors reinvest it themselves. The founders themselves also become investors in some cases, mentors in other cases. We see even within this Together program, there are a lot of great mentors who are founders themselves. So that's what's going on, and the next generation that they're enabling is the deep tech wave of India. That's sort of like the fourth wave of technology that's coming about in India. And these startups are creating technologies which feel like they're straight out of like a sci-fi film, right? They're one of the great examples that I have followed is of Agnikul Cosmos. What they do is they 3D print, uh, rocket engines, right? And they've become the first company to do so in the world just last year. So that's where the ecosystem is headed now, towards deep tech. Startup India and the government of India in general is trying to enable this wave of deep tech through a lot of new policies, such as the R&D fund, which was recently announced, and we are also renewing the fund of funds scheme, which will basically provide funding to these deep tech ventures. So the planned allocation for that is around $1.1 billion US dollars. So that's where the ecosystem is headed currently, towards the deep tech wave. And it's a really exciting time to be a part of the ecosystem, to be a part of this wave.
Thanks for sharing that. As each generation of leaders within Startup India have connected with the program, it's always amazing to see how inspired they are to lead within that ecosystem. And I can see all the energy that you have for this as we continue the adventure in India and our partnership here. So thanks for being here to co-host and to share your thoughts. And we'll have some more conversation as we go along. Okay, now next up we have Team Future Farming, and we'll bring them to the stage, and I'll get my stopwatch ready to count them in. Judges, I think you're all good and ready to go at this point. Good, thumbs up. And Shrey will get Future Farming on stage. We got Anchor back, amazing. There we go. Okay, and Future Farming, let's get you to share screen. There we go. And as soon as that kicks in, then I will count you in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Anand and we have Ashish. We are the Sago brothers and we are building Future Farming. During COVID-19 lockdown in 2020, me and my brother are with our family village in Bihar. And we are connected from farmers. For the first time, we saw up close immense challenge what a farmer faced just to survive. Local farmers struggled to sell their crops due to the broken supply chain and barely had access to fair financing and lacked expert advice when they needed the most. It struck us. In India, there is 150 million farmers who feed 1.4 billion people, yet many of them live with food scarcity themselves. Half of India, 650 million people, depend on farming, on their livelihoods. Despite this critical role, these farmers are too often left behind, fighting alone for market access, credit, and opportunities. That experience changed us. It made the crisis personal and ignited our mission. We started to listening to farmers, seeing their everyday struggle, and committed ourselves to finding the solution that would give them support, dignity, and opportunity they deserve. Today, as you hear your story, know it began in the field of Bihar, witnessing the real challenge that fueled our passion to transform the future of Indian agriculture. Here's the reality. 84 million Indian farmers lack formal credit access, forced to borrow 20 to 60% from money lenders. Meanwhile, 54 million retail investors are searching beyond stocks and mutual funds for new real asset classes, but agriculture is invisible to them. Our mission is to democratize agriculture through transparent investment, dismantling a century-old cycle of debt, one investment at a time. And why now? Alternate investments are exploding, growing from $136 billion to $247 billion by 2029. India already has 200 million demat accounts and 75% under are 30 years old. Government support has gone by 5 times. And critically, we are the first compliant platform. The market is ready. The timing is perfect. So what changes? Farmer used to borrow at crushing rates. Investor had no access to agriculture. After future farming, farmer gets finance at 8 to 14%, uplifting income by 25 to 30%. Retail investors now get 12 to 25% return through SEBI and NBFC compliant agri bonds. We have built a tech-enabled market space connecting both sides. Investors starts from $84 choosing portfolio based on crop type, their risk appetite, and track everything in real time. Farmer use our multilingual Kisan Sathi app, onboarding just in minutes, tracking funds and getting expert support when needed the most. And here's the kicker. We ensure the sales through institutional buyers and quick commerce with pre-arranged offtake agreements. Let me show you a real proof. We piloted Sona Moti, a different variety of wheat on 2 acres with managed farmland practices. Results 2.5x revenue, increase in selling 0.68 per kg B2P and 3 per kg D2C versus the normal wheat price at 2.04. Our business model is quite simple. 50, 30, 20% profit sharing. 50 goes to direct income upliftment of farmers. 32 investors, and I tell you, 20% ROI in 6 months, 20% to future farming, sustainable platform revenue. Everyone wins, impact is measurable, and returns are real. Here how it works. Investor onboards. NBFC deploy funds. Farmer grow high value crop with farm managed supports. Buyer purchase and harvest. Profits are shared. We already have traction. 150 farmers onboarded, 200 investors on our wait list. B2B partnership with Instamart and Zepto already secured. We have been featured in national news multiple times. Proud to tell you about top 7% in YTF fund, top 50 nationally at Tata Imagination Challenge. The momentum is real. Now let's talk scale and impact. The market, India agriculture is $457 billion. Our addressable market size is $178 billion. We are only targeting 1,000 farmers in year one, scaling to 1 million farmers in year five. Impact by year 5, million farmer, million investor, 5,500 acre transformed. Profitability, EBITDA positive in year 2. By year 5, 167 million in revenue and 23 million EBITDA. Scale, it's just plug and play, pan India faster than any competitor. We are just not building business. We are creating a new asset class that delivers financial returns and social transformation. How do we compare? Grow Pital was banned. Dehat and Rang, they don't offer the same thing what we offer. We are the only compliant platform offering returns with 5-layer risk protection. And the model is already globally validated. Acre Trader in US, iFarmer in Bangladesh, and we are bringing it to India legally and at scale. Our go-to-market is simple yet aggressive. Next 60 days, LOIs from leading quick commerce players, 500 farmers waitlist, NBFC partners, 1,000 investor onboarded. From year to year 5, scale from 1,000 to million, launch our AIF and CIS, expand pan-India, and exclusion starts now. Why us? Me and Ashish, we are not outsiders. We are the insiders solving our own problem. And our team has managed over 10,000 acres backed by mentors from YC, ex-Grow Pital leader and advisor from Harvard and Kellogg, who have expertise and the grit to execute. We are seeking 1 million for 18 months, getting us to reach 1,000 to 2,000 1,000 farmers to 2,000 investor, break even in 5-state expansion. We are just not connecting farmers and investor. We are creating an entirely new asset class, transforming lives while delivering returns. Impact, scale, profitability, all three together. Let's build India's future together, one farm at a time. And we are ready to take your questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Landed again, 10 seconds under time. So appreciate that. Ankur, my friend, you're first up. Lead the way.
Thanks, Sagar brothers. Good presentation. Really like the concept, but in between the presentation, I got a bit confused. Just help me clarify it. What's your one-line proposition? Because somewhere you wrote that you are a tech-enabled financial platform, but in your competition slide, you talked about DHAT also, and then NBFC and banks also. But the proof point was on that there was one slide which you talked about growth in the, I think, efficiency of the farm. So, like, who are you?
Anand, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So basically, to sum up, we want to be the next zero dhav when it comes to agriculture. If people want to invest into agriculture, we want to be that platform.
Yeah, but as a platform, then why are you and I'm curious to understand, as a platform, why are you taking
Take it
the onus of increase in the impact, revenue, or the growth of a farm on yourself? Because that's not the role of a platform.
to the solution slide.
One second.
Yeah. So what we are actually doing here is the retail investors come to onto our platform. They finance the farmers. We are managing the farming practices to ensure the returns, whatever the farmers are going to grow the crop. We'll be advising them to, you have to grow this crop to ensure the profitability of the investors, what they have invested on. And we are also ensuring that whatever the crop they have grown, will be buying out the crop so that the invested amount is secured, and will be also putting the LOIs with the institutional buyers whosoever wants that crop pre-decide amount whatever they want to purchase on. So this is what it actually we are doing to mitigate every risk what is going to come into the picture. And we have there are few of the risks you think going to come into this. We have also shown the risk mitigation what we are going to bring here. We're also putting one farm manager to each portfolio, how a funds manager actually manage the funds of the investors. We are doing similarly for the agriculture, where a farm manager gonna operate the farming practices which is gonna happen on the ground, and we are ensuring that each operation which is being desired by us, ki this is the outcome going to come from one portfolio, it should meet the outcome as projected.
Fine, got it, got it. Just one quick question. When you are saying that you want
Yeah,
to become a large platform,
yeah.
is there any dependency on the kind of a farmer or a kind of a farm size you would want to look at it? Because ultimately, it's a capital which you want to safeguard for the investors. That's the prime
Right,
motive. So is there any
right.
correlation there?
What actually we are trying to do here is we are trying to onboard small scale farmers, and we are going to ensure ki each farmers come all together, and they're all together farmers have a one community in each village. They one farmer community comes all together and accumulative, suppose 10 acres of land and 50 farmers come all together and they on board, and we sign a lease for 9 years or 11 years to ensure that land is with us, and they're going to do the farming whatever we are going to suggest them to do.
Got it. Thanks. Thanks. Over to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Apasana, next question to you.
Thank you so much. Great presentation, Anand and Ashish, and what you're doing is incredibly required in a country which is primarily an agricultural country, and still there is massively underfunded farmers. I have a question. In your one of the slides, you showed that it'll be 50-30-20 profit split is
Yeah.
absolutely there for you. What I want to understand is how do you plan to maintain the platform profitability and cash flow and consistency with that we know that investors should also get their returns when we know that farming season could be very seasonal, there could be crop failures, farmer payouts can vary at all times. So how will you maintain all these things then?
Actually, what we are doing here is right now we are dividing the profit between farmers, investor, and us. And the investor, we have put a threshold of 30% maximum.
Mhm.
So what we are also doing with each portfolio, we are diversifying the crop. We are not growing only one single crop. And each diversification is divided such as like 60 to 70% is open farming and 30 to 40% is a closed farming. Closed farming, you can imagine as polyhouse, vertical farming, hydroponics farming, in which the profitability is totally ensured. There's total weather control and everything. So nothing's going to happen into that. What is a little bit of 1%, 2%, I can also expect that there going to be risk in open farming. But that is also we are mitigating the risk by diversifying the crop. We are not growing one single crop at one portfolio. We are diversifying the crop, and we are maintaining that we are also putting an insurance for each crops. We are buying an insurance from the uh, PM Modi government, and we are also putting our farm manager to operate the farming operations. And we are also doing risk mitigation by there is one more thing actually I missed out. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the regulatory part where we are also tying up with the NBFCs. So
Okay.
with the NBFCs also takes a little bit of surety that whatever is gonna hit just in case. So we both gonna come together and take everything profitability insured is put on together.
Perfect. I think so you've laid out very clearly that you're going to ensure 30% profitability for your retail investors. But
Yeah,
one more question. You and I know
yeah,
that retail investors are notoriously hard to retain beyond novelty, you know?
sure.
Now, what I want to understand is that how you're thinking to build a long-term investor confidence and repeat participation from these retail investors once this initial emotion and social impact wears off them?
Sure, sure.
Ashish,
So
that will
right now, we have opened our waitlist, and 200 of retail investors are onto our waitlist. What we have seen with the retail investor is that they also want to put their money for an impact, but with also good returns. Right now, the retail investors are getting return from the mutual funds around 12 to 15%. With the stocks, they're getting on an average 18%. But with us, they're also getting maximum of 25%. We have threshold that 25% you can get up to in an year. And it is a short cycle return. In mutual funds, you get a return after 2 to 3 years when it compounding comes into the picture. And in stocks, it is still risky, and the investors had to keep on a look for whatever the stocks is going on every week. But with us, in 6 months, they are able to get a return of up to 12%. So you can think of they're also putting an impact and also getting a good return. And we're also giving updates for each of the crop cycle, like within 2 weeks, what happened onto the ground, within 1 month, what happened onto the ground. And even they can come onto our portfolios and visit everything. This would be like a farm visit kind of thing also, where people actually wants to have this uh, immense pleasure where they can have a farm, they can go, they can eat whatever is being onto the ground.
Sure.
So this would create a new era of agriculture in India.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, judges. Appreciate that. Now you're going to have your 3 minutes to do your thing, and thanks, guys, for the presentation. Tanishq? Wow, I'm enjoying the interplay is always great between the judges and between the startup companies. It's a lot of fun to watch. I understand you have a question for me as well this morning.
Yeah, I wanted to understand how has your journey been on building this together program, right? It's such a large platform now, but how was your experience when you were building it for the very first time from the ground up? How was the very first edition of this event? I would love to understand that.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. You know, these days I have the amazing Shrey Kumar Bhatnagar, who is the entrepreneurship manager and the program manager for the Together mission. And it's all like a system and it's all nailed down. But if you go way back to the beginning, to the very first Together mission, you know, we had this inspiration from Mr. Tata, as I mentioned in the opening, that we should work closer together between Schulich University and India. But you know, it kind of happened where one day in September, I got a phone call from Startup India, Kavya, and the government of India, and said like, you know, we have this idea, we'd like to team up and work together. Well, it was right in the middle of the pandemic, and I thought originally the idea was a competition, right? Like our companies versus your companies kind of thing. But because we were all in the middle of the pandemic and there was a lot going on around the world where it felt like we needed each other and needed to support each other, we were all online now and working together. The idea came, why don't we do something different than a competition? Why don't we show up with the resources and the brilliant young minds that we have from Schulich and from our alumni network and our friends, and like make a contribution in terms of advancing some of these young companies that were so impressive coming out of India from the student population. So we pitched that. And then we also suggested, why don't we go get mentors from India and mentors from Canada? And then we suggested, why don't we bring together some amazing leaders from both countries to all team up and have a bit of a collaborative brainstorm together. And it's kept getting bigger. And you know what? Sometimes when you're creating something, the bigger and more ridiculous the mission seems, the more excited people are to get on it. If we made it small, if we made it very humble and very quiet, then it would have been harder to get people excited. But not only did we say we were going to do this, the government of India said, hey, we'd like to do it in 90 days. So we had to go with, at that point, we had no name, we had no logo, we had no mapped out curriculum that we were going to take from elements of the business school, but we had no full curriculum mapped out specialized to this. We didn't have the platform, we didn't have the money, we didn't have the sponsors, we didn't have the mentors, we didn't have the students, we didn't have pretty much anything. But then in 90 days, there we were on stage with all these people involved, having worked around the clock through the pandemic to make this happen. And there was an amazing, I mentioned Kavya, but there was an amazing program manager back then on my end. His name's Karan Vaish. And he came in and worked on 2 time zones around the clock for the first year. So when we were done at the end of it, all of us from Startup India and from Schulich Startups and York University were online celebrating when it was done. And we looked at each other and we all said, I think this might have taken a couple of years off my life, but it was worth it. And we all laughed, and then we all went and had a big long nap for a couple of days. But it was a real adventure to make it happen. And but in life, you only get so many chances to create signature moments in your career. And I really think that for myself and for all the people who were involved in that first year, that was a signature moment to do something that was special. And we always look back at the companies we have supported and provided funding to and guidance and see them succeeding and growing. And we feel great about the sacrifices that we made in that first year in those 90 days. So thanks for asking. That's a little bit of the history behind it. Okay, with that, we're going to bring our judges back and we're ready for our final of the 3 presentations. And presentation number 3. So team, we will bring you to stage. Okay, and we have Team Trace 0 ready to go. Once we get them on stage and ready to share screen, we will count them in. All right, guys, let's have a share screen from you. After this, then, just so everybody knows, give you a heads up, then our judges are going to retreat to a private breakout room with our Associate Director from the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Chelsea Gray, and then we'll have some special guests to join us and to speak.
My screen visible to everyone?
There we go. Now
Sure.
you're on full screen. So with that, we will count you in at 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Kushal Singh, co-founder from Trace Zero, converting industrial emissions into value. So I grew up in Rajasthan, Kota, just 20 kilometers to state's largest thermal power plant. Every day I see the coming plumes of emission going regularly into atmosphere. That made me ask a question to my elder brother, shown in the image below. Just a second. Shown in the image below. So he was importing coal back in 2022, and he replied that it's not a single industry which is emitting like this. There are hundreds like this operating 24/7. That hit me hard, as Kota itself has a population of 1.6 million people breathing this air pollution. That led us to make a thorough research that showed that there are no cost-effective technologies giving a profitable pathway to reduce these emissions, hence facing heavy regulatory compliances and making India third largest GHG emitter. That made us to let Trace Zero, giving a strong foundation from industrial experts and researchers to convert these emissions into value, and now backed by industrial and institutional leaders. At Trace Zero, we are capturing emission directly from the flue gas and then decomposing them through our proprietary zeolite-based solvent. And we are getting output as graphite, which is the raw material for graphene, a wonder material. Coming to the business model, we are providing industries a profitable pathway to reduce their emissions and avoid costly government fines by converting these emissions into graphene. Adding on to that, we'll also be generating carbon credits. So each Trace Zero plant is not just profitable, it's self-sustaining from year 1 itself. Our 5-year projection shows consistent positive net income starting at $7 million in year 1 to $13 million at year 5 by operating a 1 ton per day removal plant and getting 50 kg of graphene per day from this model. So it's a model that scales both economically and environmentally. So graphene is itself a wonder material as currently being widely used in paint and coating industries, composite polymers, textiles, and energy storage and battery systems. Further, in the R&D stage, semiconductor, aerospace, aviation, and defense and security, these are the industries which are making thorough R&D to use this wonder material. So if I talk about market opportunity, Indian government has recently mandated chemical, steel, cement, and thermal to reduce their yearly emissions by 5 to 7%. Otherwise, they will be having heavy penalties on their emissions. So for the market size, we are having a $353 billion of total addressable market, including coal, steel, chemical, and cement. Focusing on only 3 high emitting sectors, chemical, steel, and thermal gives us $269 billion. And for the upcoming 5 years, we will be projecting 5 plants removing 10 tons of CO2 per day, which will account us for $73 million yearly revenue. And this will be leading by 12 tons of graphene generation. So if I talk about computer analysis, Trace Zero is having direct competition with Up Catalyst, but they are cost intensive process and they are using electrolyzers. So they need high energy and temperatures to convert flue gas into solid carbon. But a step ahead, we are converting that graphitic carbon into graphene. And other than these, Carbon Clean, Climeworks, and Lanzatech are operating in other domains by removing the atmospheric concentration, not directly to the industries. So we back in 2022, we made our first prototype and made multiple trials at multiple industries. And then we applied for the world's first patent that is decomposing CO2 at room temperature. And further, with the association with Prespel, India's leading biomass generator, we successfully made a 10 days pilot with Sun Pharmaceuticals, India's largest pharmaceutical company, where we achieved 93% of CO2 capture efficiency. Further, this pilot has led us to a signed LOI with India's second largest exporter, Deccan Fine Chemicals, and that will be started in the coming 2 months. Other than the industries, we are having institutional engagement with NCCBM, National Council for Cement and Building Materials, MNIT, IIIT, and with an NGO and some EPC engineering companies. Other than this, with institutional partner NCCBM, as this is the only body which regulates the policies for cement industry, we will be getting technical validation, industry access, and policy and standard alignment for the industry. For go-to-market strategy, we will be gaining validation from our first LOI with Prespel. Other than this, with NCCBM for phase 2, we will be replicating our technology in the cement industry, further targeting the high volume carbon intensive sectors like thermal power, cement, and steel. And Prespel is also actively working with steel, chemical, and pharma companies for energy transition. So altogether, we will be creating a circular economy with profitability. So this is our team, where Dipendra Singh Shagaut is having experience in corporate finance and global trade. Ritam Chaudhary, our CTO, with material science expert and sustainability expert. Dr. Pramod Sharma, the man behind the Solvent, Chief Innovation Officer, researcher, and a chemical expert. Along with Mr. Kushal Singh, deep expertise in carbon sequestration and agriculture engineer. Along with, I'm having Hardik Abusaria, specializing in automation and carbon capture integration. And we are having Schulich advisors with us and mentors. So industrial advisory team includes Lieutenant Colonel Monish Ahuja, Managing Director of Prespel. He was recognized as Biomass Man of India, backing us with the technological support. Mr. Samrat Sen Gupta, former VP at EK Energy Services. Our ask is from this competition is $10,000. As of now, we rent industrial analyzers from NCCBM to validate our technology, to proofread all the data is tamper-proof, and to provide the reports. And further, we will be having our own analyzer to make the next pilot feasible. Further, other than this competition funding, we need a 2.3 million investment for including a 1 ton per day removal plant, which will lead us to a revenue of 11.8 million from per factory. Thank you. Help us transform industrial emissions into valuable resources. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And Naman, you're up first.
Great, thanks, Kushal. Great presentation. A question is that I'm trying to understand the hardware. How much does, you showed a couple pictures of it, but how much does that cost to create? How does it plug in? Maybe talk about how it plugs into your first LOI customer there that you mentioned. Trying to envision that. When I look at the scalability, your revenue only doubles in 5 years, which is not normally a venture track as well. So I'm wondering if it costs a lot to produce this hardware to make it difficult to scale because you need so much funding.
So for the profitability, those numbers are only at a particular plant, like for 1 ton removal per day. So we will be scaling these numbers to multiple, like 5 ton per day removal to 10 ton per day removal, and then further scaling to 50 tons and multiple numbers. And if I talk about how we are working, so I have a video like whatever we presented at Sun Pharmaceuticals. So if you allow, I can share that video.
Just maybe quickly describe it. How much does it cost to build a hardware? How much is needed, let's say, for your first LOI customer?
Sir, for 2.38 million, we need for a 1 ton removal plant, which will be accounting as a 1 year removal. And 60% of the funds will be utilized in the capex cost, and rest 40% will be for the OPEX recurring costs, including the chemicals and the other things which will be needed in the recurring costs.
Okay. And last question here before I pass it on. You said you started working on this from 2022. What was the inflection point? What did you learn from a technology perspective, a moat perspective? Where did that aha moment come between 2022 and where we are here now in 2025?
So making thorough research in the industry, like whatever other technologies are doing, made us like standing here. Like there are no other technologies working in the same domain to convert direct industrial emissions into graphene. So there are possible technologies, but like they are making either solid carbon or with some other technologies which are cost intensive and others. So that's how we stand other from these other technologies.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, I'm actually going to jump to Ankur to make sure that he gets a second shot here. Upasana, you're always in the middle, so we'll see if you get a final question. Ankur, over to you.
Fine. So I'll just ask one brief question. Can you just quickly go to a gross margin slide because this was quite interesting. If I saw it correctly, you talked about around 60 plus gross margin.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. See, is it right or wrong? I don't know. Any business which generates 70% net income margin is a business which no investor can leave behind. Forget about the initial cost. So, what is the secret sauce? Is there something hidden? Because this, there is an opportunity, but it looks like it's difficult because then everyone has to jump in. What am I missing here?
So, sir, you want to know the USP or like I don't get the question exactly.
70% margin at scale, is it possible?
Yes, sir. So the graphene which we are producing is a wonder material itself. As in the current industry, it's ranging around 800 Canadian dollars to 1500 Canadian dollars. And for the initial part, for the first 2 years, we will be selling this graphene at 20% cost discount to the industries like which we are using currently. So that's how we will be getting this net income margin.
Got it. Fair. I'll love to know more about this. I'll pass it on to Upasana to.
Perfect. Thank you, Ankur. And now when you've gotten into the numbers, let me get back, Kushal, a little bit back into the technology. I know you just mentioned that it's world first patent for decomposing CO2 at room temperature. Could you just a little bit unpack what makes this chemically distinct from other methods like catalytic or electrolysis and how you are validating efficiency at industrial scale beyond your pilot stage?
So, sir, ma'am, in our process, we are using very simple, like a cut-to-cut process, which includes first of all, clearing the flue gas with a water column and then just directly transferring it into our absorption reactor where our actual chemistry thing happens. So CO2 is just trapped in the molecular form in the absorption reactor and then it is decomposed in the presence of our catalyst and zeolite. So existing technologies use amine-based solvent, which we are also using, but adding to that, we are using our zeolite and catalyst to perform this decomposition at lower temperatures.
Okay. Okay. One follow-up question. Do we have time for this, Chris?
Yep, we do. We're good.
Now, just tell me a little bit more that given right now carbon emissions, carbon control is buzz everywhere and it's the need of the hour. But given the global race into carbon to value technologies, how defensible is your proprietary solvent and process IP internationally? What I really want to say is, what's your strategy to protect and commercialize it outside India?
Sure, ma'am. So as per the IP and confidentiality, we are using zeolite, which is made of multiple chemicals and multiple concentrations. So it's really hard to crack that down, even having solvent in the hand. So it's a form of multiple concentration and multiple steps. So making them exact out, it's really hard to get this chemistry thing done, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Those were my two questions.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And that wraps up, judges, for your question duties. Thanks for bringing so many different perspectives and getting right in there and digging into the businesses. It's great. It's amazing for all of us to watch you think through them and like break them down. And now you get to go back behind the scenes and compare your scores and share your thoughts and debate that out and see where we land. So with that, Shrey, we'll send them off with Chelsea.
Yeah, Each one of you must have got a WhatsApp message with a different Zoom link. So if you could join there, you could leave the Zoom room and join there in the deliberation room and join it back.
Can we take 3 minutes to score this before we hop onto that Zoom link?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So next up, now we'll take some time, Tanishq, and we're going to visit with some amazing special guests that we have. Then while we're doing that, the judges will be behind the scenes doing their thing, and then we'll get a heads up that they're ready to come back and to join us. So first off, I'm really excited today to introduce a very special guest and a new partner to the Together mission and to the Schulich School of Business. Thomas Archer Bada is a Canadian-Swiss entrepreneur, investor, and heir to the Bada legacy. As CEO of Triple B Investments, he oversees a diversified portfolio spanning real estate, consumer brands, and sports ventures across Europe and North America. His holdings include landmark commercial properties such as the Omni Centre in Edinburgh, 7 Birchin Lane in London, don't want to get the address wrong, and assets in Miami, the UK, Switzerland, and Czechia. Alongside high-growth consumer investments such as MGG, Snugs, Delicious, and Peaches, amongst others. He's a former executive at the Bata Shoe organization, where Thomas held senior leadership roles across Europe and Latin America, including general manager of Bata Chile and chief marketing officer of Bata Group. Building on this global expertise, he has since launched several entrepreneurial initiatives, notably Intense, a fast format professional tennis league, modernizing and globalizing the sport. I want to go check out that one. And MGG, a purpose-driven investment and management group focused on sustainable growth. Thomas is also the founder of Friends of Bata, an entrepreneurship, education, and social impact platform that supports the next generation of founders. Through partnerships with universities and accelerators like the partnership we have together, Friends of Bata connects students and young entrepreneurs to real-world startup experiences, mentors, and opportunities to learn from international business leaders. And we're working alongside Thomas Archer with Valentina and Friday as well as part of that program. Very exciting. We're enjoying that. As a speaker, mentor, and jury member at global entrepreneurship events, Thomas plays an active role in inspiring young founders to develop the skills and mindset needed to build ventures with impact and integrity. As part of our new partnership, he'll be presenting later on the Thomas Bata Future Vision Award. And he's also going to come and visit Schulich early next year as part of our spring Schulich VIP session. So Schulich students can have a chance to meet him and hear from him in person. And also has been a partner now to us with the Schulich Venture Academy, creating a new scholarship program for social impact ventures with underrepresented founders. Thomas Archer, we're so pleased to have you here with us today and to hear your thoughts on the competition and your world in entrepreneurship.
Thanks, Chris. You haven't left me with anything to say. It's quite an intro.
Take us into the detail.
Appreciate it. And no, first of all, I'll just say so pleased to be here and so pleased, for this partnership. And in particular, as I come from a long legacy of entrepreneurship, fourth generation, named Thomas Bata, and I have a very deep connection to India as well. For those of you who grew up in India, you're probably familiar with the Bata shoe brand, which was established by my actually great grandfather almost 100 years ago, and to this day remains very very prominent in India. And over the years, I spent a lot of time there and have a very big soft spot for the country, and really appreciate the great potential and entrepreneurship skills and potential that exist there. And I'm very pleased to see this forum connecting Canada and India. So two places are very, very, very close to my heart. So I wanted to talk a little bit today, just to give you a little bit of insight of my entrepreneurial journey, very briefly, and then some of the reasons why it's wonderful to be an entrepreneur, and the pitfalls you should look for, because it's not a fully rose tinted thing to do in life. So I as I mentioned, I grew up surrounded by the shoe business. My father was the CEO of the Bata Group. My holidays as a kid were going to India, Africa, etc., to shoe factories. I used to resent it very much when I was a kid because all my friends were doing fun stuff and I didn't necessarily appreciate that this was a fun thing. But over the years, I started to get, more and more hunger for it. Moved to South America when I was quite young after university, and worked there for the Bata Group until I started my kind of first business there on the side, which was a restaurant business. It didn't go terribly well, but it was actually the most important learning experience I had in my life as a 24-year-old, setting up a business. It actually went well for about 3 months, and then learned how fickle people can be and consumers can be, and all the things that came along with that. But that kind of awoke a passion for building and building things. So I, from that point on, started a second venture, which went much better in the real estate area, and then a third in apparel, and then a fourth, and then started to invest in various, high growth opportunity segments where I liked, like the founders, like the business. And when you get in kind of an entrepreneurship ecosystem, you start to meet other great people who think like you, right? And then this creates this amazing effect where you all build on each other's energy, and you keep creating new projects. So one thing led to another, and today I manage in addition to a couple of businesses, I manage a fund investing in early stage ventures, growth ventures, with particular speciality on internationalizing businesses. So finding companies that a founder has built very well in one country and would like to take the next step, which is going abroad with particularly in the consumer space and increasingly in the sports space, as areas that I know very well, and that is turned out to be a very interesting and fulfilling activity for me. So what I see though wherever I go in the world is there's a huge hunger to become entrepreneurs, which I love. I think it's becoming increasingly a thing that is aspirational. And depending on the culture, it can be more or less aspirational. There are still a lot of cultures in the world where people are a bit more risk adverse. We're worried about what people will think when they fail. And I'm guessing that's not a problem that many of you share because you're here in this room today. But I like to always tell them that there has never been a better moment to be an entrepreneur. The stakes today are lower than ever before. So don't be scared to fail. Failing will only make you stronger and more interesting. And the younger you are, the lower the stakes are, frankly, because when you're at school, when you've just graduated from school, you don't have a lot to lose, right? Financially, you don't have a lot to lose from a career point of view. So although it can be very daunting and it can be very difficult, I think it is one of the best moments. And that's not to say you can't be an entrepreneur later in your life. I know plenty of people who have started companies, even know one gentleman at the ripe age of 84 who just started a new company and is now 94 and still running it. So it is something you can do at any stage in your life. But I think there's a particular beauty, because the ecosystem, when you do it young, because the ecosystem you'll build at school will never get replicated again. You're never going to have that time unless you go back to do another program somewhere at some point. You're never going to have that opportunity to really have no pressure outside of your studies and to be able to spend tons of time with other people thinking about the same things. Because at any point in time when you do that again in the future, you're going to be in a situation where you have maybe a lot of bills to pay, you have kids, you have other pressures, which push you away from developing your ambitions. And it gets harder and harder and harder to separate those things and take those risks. It's not impossible. Many people do it, but it will get harder and harder. And this, I think, we're lucky in North America that our culture has embraced more and more this that failure is okay, that it's a stepping stone towards something in the future. That's maybe not still the case everywhere. I think in India it's changing a lot. It's got a lot more along that mindset that we just try things, let's give it a go. And like even if the first business doesn't go well, even the second business does go well, if you look at your situation, you're going to end up being a whole lot more experienced and a whole lot more interesting than almost anybody else in the market, whether you decide to go professional or not, in work in a company, continue being self-employed, you're going to end up much, much richer in terms of all your experiences. And I think there are a few lessons. One thing you'll find when you spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs is that they don't ever create excuses for themselves, right? They tend to be extremely optimistic people who don't blame other people for their shortcomings. And of course, you can always point out one or two exceptions, but you'll find overall this kind of mindset exists. And I believe this is very much a learned mindset. I don't believe it's something that you're born with, any of us are born with. I believe it's something that we build up as we build up confidence, we build up experience. And those lessons can be applied in anything you do in life. They can be applied whether you want to become a musician, whether you want to become you name it, artist. It's always going to be that same kind of spirit of taking your future into your own hands, taking your development into your own hands. And it's exactly the same in business, right? And so those skill sets are applicable everywhere in everything you do. They give you a huge amount of fulfillment. They help, I would say, intensify some of the emotions you experience. As somebody who's worked both early in the private sector and then later on became more of an entrepreneur, it's very hard to go back to the private sector after you've experienced the rushes, the ups and downs that you get when you're creating a business, right? Because everything is 2 to 3 times harder than you anticipate. It takes 2 to 3 times longer. And it has creates this amazing learning journey that you go through where, the days when things go well, you are ecstatic, you're so happy, you feel so much confidence, so much fulfillment. And the days where things go badly, you feel like the earth has, fallen on top of you and crushed you. But you start to realize that those are really great emotions that just help you develop a ton as you go forward. And that's what real learning is about, and real kind of, I think, almost to agree, help to define your purpose, right? And help to give you purpose. So I think these, are all great elements. And then when you go out there and you decide what to do, I have a very strong belief that business should be done in a certain way. It should be done in a sustainable way. And when I mean sustainable, I mean that in broader sense, not just environmentally sustainable, but also communities. That we have an obligation as business leaders, as business creators, to elevate everybody around us. And to create a great environment, to have a working culture of respect between the people we work with, and to have a culture where we try to bring people smarter than us along with us, and we learn from them. And one thing I've found as well is that, when you create that's when you create this incredible effect of constant improvement, a virtuous cycle of improvement, where everybody ends up better, everybody ends up happier, more fulfilled, and everybody buys into a mission. And then it doesn't become about money, it doesn't become about any of these things, it becomes about a purpose and a mission and fulfillment. And you usually tend to make money if those things go well as well, right? So and even if you don't, you've had a great journey. You've built something together. You've grown as a person, and you don't regret a single day, that you were there. So, I'll say thanks once again to the whole committee. I know I only had 15 minutes, so I'm going to the end of those. But we're super pleased, to offer this to Thomas Bata Future Vision Award, and I very much look forward to continuing the discussion with you all, hopefully in person in the spring with those of you that will be there as well. So thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Tash, your words.
Thank you so much for your great advice and your insights overall on any journey of an entrepreneur. Firstly, like as as an Indian myself, I have grown up wearing Bata shoes for almost like the first 15 years of my life, and it's great to see that the brand still lives on. It keeps on innovating and still has a great market share, and it's also doing so many other things. I think whatever you said makes a lot of sense. How uh, people are now more risk taking, that they've developed this attitude of risk taking. This is, I think, something that needs to be encouraged more and more, to be able to try new things, fail at new things, learn from them, and keep on moving. So I think there was some great advice, some great insights. I hope everyone learned quite a lot from that. I would have loved to also write down a few points myself. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas Archer. We really appreciate the time, and I'm excited to welcome you back on stage in a few more minutes. So we'll have to announce the winners. Apparently, the judges, I got word from the back that the judges are already good and ready to go. So we're going to have our couple additional speakers. I really appreciate your thoughts, comments on your journey. And amongst the many messages you gave, one thing that made me feel really good is about how I've dragged my 4 children out to my businesses over their early years. And even though, as you said, sometimes it didn't have the spark right in the beginning, you grew to appreciate that. And it's amazing to have you share your journey, your adventures, and your lessons along the way. So we'll welcome you back in a few moments. Now we're going to go to a Schulich alum who's been trailblazing and doing some amazing things. Rishabh Gupta, an MBA from 2018. Here you can see him in the photo with Jason Kalkanis, serial VC investor, one of the besties from the All In podcast. Rishabh's company is currently part of the Launch Accelerator program, and he's dialing in today from San Francisco. Rishabh is the CEO of Actuality Live, an AI-driven platform revolutionizing the RFP response process within architecture, design, and construction. With a career that bridges architecture, sustainability, and business strategy, Rishabh brings a unique blend of expertise and vision to the tech landscape. And he's been a very active participant in the Schulich startups community. And I've loved coaching and working with him over the last couple of years. Rishabh, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Chris. And I'm very grateful to be here today. Hello everyone. My name is Rishabh, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Actuality. I'm a Schulich alum, did my MBA from Schulich in 2018. But before that, I grew up in India in many small places like Bhilai and Vizag and other places. I studied architecture back in India. But coming back to Actuality, at Actuality, we are helping construction companies automate RFP responses using AI. But we did not start as an RFP tool. We actually started off as an augmented reality company back in 2022, and we pivoted last year around this time. Since our pivot last year, around a year ago, we launched the version 1 of our platform, onboarded 10 plus customers, including a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and got funded from, as Chris mentioned, from one of the top investors, Jason Calacanis. While this might look like a quick success story or like an overnight success story, but believe me, it was many years in the making. And very recently, I got the opportunity to pitch to Roelof, managing director of Sequoia. And he said that that the biggest predictor of startup success is resilience. And I thought today, let's maybe talk a little bit about resilience. What is resilience? Are people born with it, and can it be learned? According to Perplexity, resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and pivot amid unexpected challenges. And the good news is it can be learned. And today I thought I would share share my thoughts on how people most of us coming from India, things we can do to become more resilient over time. So one of the things which I love, the first things I would say is learn at least one high-paying skill which you can depend upon during the hard times. For me, that was investing. I first started investing when I was 19 years old after reading a book called Intelligent Investor. I highly recommend the book, by the way. Over the past 15 years, I've gotten decent at investing, I would say, but this is a skill I can continuously rely on to make sure that I have something going for me. It has allowed me to pursue my passion and live life and take shots at my own term. So I would highly recommend someone learning something which we can really depend upon. and not only that, like, now I'm thinking, what can be the next thing, maybe, like, to learn over, so that, like, my next decade is good. The second thing I would say is think in decades, not years. For me, like, personally moving to Canada, specifically Toronto, to do my MBA was a result of that. Back in 2017, many people, including my parents, advised against moving to Canada for various different reasons. But decided to move here regardless for two big reasons. One was very favorable immigration policies. I had seen many friends, like, who went to different places, including states, and were stuck in a very we're always worried about the immigration scenario. So I took that. I thought, like, I don't want to deal with this. I want to settle at a place which gives me stability, and Canada has been great at it. Turns out many of those friends are moving back to Canada now, or trying to move to Canada rather. So that's something that was a multi-year, like, multi-decade thinking I was trying to do. The second thing, which is, like, more of a TBD, is I believe that Canada, Toronto specifically, is geographically one of the safest place to live. We do not have hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, and very low probability of wildfires and other things. So this is TBD, as I said, but, like, I think, like, over the next decade, many people many top talent would want to move to Canada and build their companies and build their lives here. So it's great to be here. And now coming to the third part of, like, third thing of being resilient, is understanding when to pivot. This is as Thomas was just mentioning earlier, that he ran a business for three months, and decided, like, no, this is not something for him, and he moved on. So I have a similar story. Back in 2015, I bought a domain called All Things Sustainable, and always wanted to build at the intersection of technology and sustainability. Finally, in 2020, I got the agency to start this company, and started All Things Sustainable, a marketplace for sustainable products and services. Worked on it for almost a year and a half, and realized that I could not solve the last mile problem, and hence I could not make it a profitable business. It was my dream to build this business. I always dreamt of doing this, but even then I took a very hard decision, and decided to pivot into actuality's first version, that is augmented reality. We worked on it for 3 years, realized that it is scaled to reached a decent amount of revenue, got some good traction, but we couldn't really visualize how to create a competitive moat around the sphere we were building. So me and my team took a very hard decision to pivot yet again. And finally, I think, like, we are building something which is defensible, which could scale across multiple countries, and who knows, like, if it doesn't, like, I'm confident that we would find the courage to pivot yet again. And finally, like, the last part and the most important part of how someone can become more resilient, is to build a community of like-minded people around yourself. For me, this community has been Schulich and Schulich Startup specifically. They have been with me for during my most difficult times. Chris and team has helped me kickstart Actuality, provide thought leadership around navigating the pivot. They not only celebrated my victories, but also celebrated my failures. As again, like, Thomas just mentioned in the previous talk, that it is very important to be okay to fail, and you can only become okay in failing if people around you could say, hey, it's okay to fail, man, like, let's celebrate. So this is something I'm very, very grateful for the entire Schulich community. They have always been there for me. They have, needless to say, they have connected with many customers, investors, domain experts across the board. And not only that, even Chris has even, like, coached me through my personal relationship. Again, like, very grateful for that. A community helps you regulate your emotions And because entrepreneurship is a very volatile, your emotions can go very volatile, and thereby, regulating emotions results in resilience. And I would highly recommend having a community that helps you stay humble during your good times and stay hopeful during a bad. Thank you so much, everyone.
Tanishq, your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think I think what Rishabh just said makes a lot of sense. Successful entrepreneurs must cultivate this skill almost of resilience and flexibility as their core competencies, remaining ready to pivot whenever the market signals or through customer feedback or some external conditions, because being flexible, being adaptable is a competitive advantage in today's world. And I think one of the biggest platforms that most of us have interacted with in some form came out of a great pivot, which was Slack. It was the founders had originally built a game which did not do so well commercially, but then they decided to pivot and develop their internal communications channel that they had developed for themselves, turning it into the platform that is Slack today. So I think there are some great learnings. There are some great case studies which we can all read about, startups pivoting to get to where they are. So thank you so much for sharing your learnings, sharing your experience.
Hey, Rishabh, thanks for being here today, and enjoy your continued adventures down in California. I look forward to your visit to Toronto.
Thank you.
Next up, we'd like to have a word from on behalf of the mentors. The mentors play an indispensable role in this program. Throughout the week, I heard the students talking about what they were already learning from the mentors in these dedicated breakout sessions, both the Canadian students and the Indian students as well. And one of our top mentors, who always puts his hand up right away, Schulich alum, good friend Howard Lichman, is here today to share words on behalf of the Canadian mentors and the Indian mentors as well, too, mentors in general. Welcome, Howard.
Thank you very kindly, Chris. So a couple of comments about over the years and a couple of comments about this particular cohort. One is it's sort of like lessons learned and for everybody on a go-forward basis. Learn from your competitors. I don't mean your competitors in this competition. People tend to be scared when they're going through these competitions and in life they sort of close their eyes and they go, hey, we found 3 or 4 competitors and we're going to put them on that chart. That's not really what it's all about, because if you don't know all of your direct competitors, you may lose the investment from an investor. But more importantly, it's okay to have a direct competitor because you can learn from them, learn how they pitch, learn how they present themselves, and learn how you can make yourself different. Second lesson, in doing that and in general, and I find I'm involved in other competitions with competitors from around the world, and people fail to look globally from the benchmarking. So when you're looking as to what's available in the industry, truly look around the world, because your judges and or your potential investors have a global perspective. So that's sort of number 2. Number 3, was involved in writing a book a couple of years back, many years back now, called Why Choose You in 7 Words or Less. Focus on that question, which you're going to get from the judges, and it came out a little bit today. Why choose you? Why choose you over your competitors, and why choose you over other investments? Because they're seeing hundreds and hundreds of investments. Tip number 4, the power of questions. One of the things we did not have a chance to do in this particular session was go through the 99 questions you're afraid to ask or to hear. When I used to handle investor relations, for the CEO, and I was an executive VP at Cineplex, I used to prepare for those Wall Street grilled by media and grilled by the investment community. And you've got to have those questions and answered prepared. Tip number 5, which you've all learned and will nod your heads, it's all about the story. You may have the best product in the world, but if you can't tell the story, you're not going to get the investors. You're not going to win competitions. So use the learning over the past couple of weeks to learn better how to tell the story. And just some quick comments that came to mind about this year. I was talking to my particular group, and I said, "So, what is some of your reactions to this experience?" And they said it was beyond the classroom learning, and that's one of the things that this particular program, Chris and the team provide you, is opportunities to learn that you can never ever learn in a classroom. I wish we had these kind of programs when I was back at Schulich in the days of yore. The other is they learned hands-on about teamwork, and the teamwork that they learned was global teamwork. So how do you manage, working in a team, around the world? I'm part of a global consulting group called Accelerate with Impact, also in the impact space. And we have people in Brazil and people in the Philippines, and we have people in the States and people all over the Switzerland, all over the world in our small little team. And just coordinating a meeting is a task, and that was reflected by the group this year just between India and Canada. But learning how to work in a team across globes is very, 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 very important. The third thing that I think the group echoed learning was these are skills, and I've seen it before, that are applicable in all the jobs. It doesn't matter if you go on as an entrepreneur or you go on in business. The entrepreneurial spirit and the things you learn as an entrepreneur, as our friend from Abada was telling you today, are applicable regardless of what you do. And you can actually be an intrapreneur within a company, and even if you're not an intrapreneur, you have the opportunity to use those skills in whatever job you choose. The fourth, which was my number 9, I have quick 10 ones. Number 9 is take the time after this to reflect on what you've learned, so not to lose it. Don't just move on to your courses and your classes. And finally, number 10, it's about the team. And one of the things that I've seen, and I've seen the challenge on a global basis, most of the people that I work with on a global basis, they're much smarter than me. They're much more talented than me. They're brainiacs. They're exceptional. The products that they're building and the innovations blow me away. But the other thing I've learned is if they don't have the Schulich MBA piece of the program, the other part of the team, the go-to-market, the way to tell the story, the numbers, understanding customers, if you don't have the business piece, you won't succeed on paper, you won't succeed in a competition, and you won't succeed in the real world. So to build a business, part of it is the product, but equally as important, and sometimes more important, is building the team. And with that, I will turn it back over to Chris.
Thanks, Howard. Those were great lessons that you shared. And really, I say to you, as co-founder of Ethnicity Multicultural Marketing and Advertising, as a mentor, and also through saying this to you, to all the mentors, your role that you play in this is so incredibly impactful, and that you spend your time and volunteer and show up for the students like this. We appreciate that. Some of your students are commenting in the chat, celebrating you. And if all of you haven't checked out the chat yet, it's a lot of great comments and insights and appreciation from the students. And Tanishq, your thoughts there before we move to the announcements.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the lessons, one of the many lessons that Mr. Howard gave, one was about reflection and introspection. So without that pause, without really understanding what you've learned, you can tend to repeat the same mistakes or the same patterns. And as we've learned already, it's good to fail, but it's also good to learn from those mistakes. So we should all take time to reflect on what went wrong and then move forward. So those are some great advices. Thank you so much.
All right, here we go. Now, the moment that we've all been waiting for. We are going to meet the second place team, and then we're going to meet the first place team after that. I have to tell you, all of you, like the judges, I've heard the whispers from Chelsea in the back saying like that the judges are so incredibly impressed, calling this the strongest group to date. And those judges weren't the semifinal judges, so they didn't go through the agony of cutting the three in the top six to get to the top three. It was one of the strongest top six ever. One thing I just wanted to let everyone know is that because of that, our first place prize, thanks to Friends of Bata, is $10,000. Our second place prize is 5,000. But this morning I told Shrey, we got to just put in $1,000 for the third place team because I can't not under any circumstances allow one of these companies to go home today without prize after everything they put into it. So I'm telling Chelsea, my associate director, we're going to squeeze a little extra money out of the budget somewhere, and we're coming up with a third place prize. So everyone's going to go home winner today. Now I get my chance to introduce my special guest who will be making the announcement for the second place prize. Renan Perez from Perez and Company. He's joining us from Brazil today. We wanted to have an international flair and flavor to our guests coming in from all over the globe. And we've been doing a pretty good job of that. I'm going to be speaking coming up at his Business Freedom Immersion 5.0 in Sao Paulo edition coming up. He's a distinguished MBA graduate from the Schulich School of Business, York University here in Toronto. And he's an entrepreneurship mentor, management consultant, and leadership facilitator, public speaker, and business professor. He's taken all of his time. He was a key contributor as well in one of the Together missions, working on one of the top teams. And he's gone to Brazil and working on that. He's very enthusiastic and energetic and competitive in whatever he does. And he's been, I want to say special note, he's been here with his wife, Jennifer, for over 16 years, side by side. She underwent a sudden cardiac arrest back in 2022 and is currently under intensive rehabilitation. And his level of love and commitment and inspiration to care for her throughout this while building his business is something that always touches my heart. And I love it whenever he has a chance to join us. So welcome, Renan.
Thank you for the touching words, Chris. I always got a little heads up here. So hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here again with Together Mission to announce the second prize winner, valued at 5,000 Canadian dollars. First of all, just a quick message for all of you, something I'd love to share. This is just about the most promising startup nor the perfect pitch. This isn't about how your business plan is, how great it is, nor how your numbers are awesome or credible. This is about people. People connecting with people, people serving people, people supporting people profitably to make the world a better place, to make the world a world that our next generations can live in happily as we are trying to do our best here. As I always used to say, to be an entrepreneur, a successful one, you need to do simple things well done, consistently. For that, bring the long standard outcomes, the long-term outcomes. So do simple things, guys. We are innovating. We are bringing awesome ideas, but cover the basics. If you do not cover the basics, you won't get anywhere. If you do not connect with people telling your stories well, like Howard just said over here, you're not getting there because nobody's gonna know how good you are. You are serving people. Keep that in mind. Don't lose sight of that. Okay? So, who's excited to know who is the second prize winner? Send some emojis here. I want to feel your love for that, to be here today. Yeah, I'm seeing that. So, Chris, I'm ready to announce. Ready, guys? So our second prize winner, I want to see more emojis floating up here on the screen. So a huge announcement for Team Future Farming. Congratulations, guys. You made it to the second place. Future Farming.
All right, Team Future Farming, well done, way to go. And we will bring you up on stage to share some thoughts. Let's bring them in. How are you feeling right now? Oh, look at those smiles.
Hello, am I audible?
You're audible. Let's hear your thoughts. You look happy.
We just didn't figure out like we'll reach till here, and we had it our momentum on the place, and mostly all thanks to our mentors who really helped us. They were up at 5 a.m. in the morning and trying to mentor us, and we were trying to perfect our pitch. And it's a small notion what we started off, and there's a huge way to go around, and there's a reason what we are doing and what we are building. So hopefully with that, and thanks to everyone, and thanks to our mentor, honestly, it means a lot. It means a lot. You guys have really put your efforts into it as well.
Thank you. All right. Let's hear a word from Atya as a Schulich student working on this team. What are your thoughts?
Congratulations. I am so happy for the team. They've worked incredibly hard, long hours, around the clock. We all as a team see just in the last 3 days a huge difference from semifinal to final. So, and just an incredible product, mission, vision, two visionaries. From the actual field of where this is happening. Can't be happier for you. Hopefully you end the call after and you celebrate this win. Congratulations.
Kanishka, what would you like to add?
Ashish and Anand, I'm so happy. Congratulations. It's been amazing working with you guys, and I've seen them take everything we've told them, every advice we've given them, and take it with a smile and just come back with more amazing slides, more deck, more of a better deck, and even a pitch. And I just want to say I'm really happy, and I hope this goes a long way.
Pranav, mentor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, congratulations, both of you all. I'm extremely happy. I'm glad all of us could be of assistance to you all. You all took our feedback very well when it comes to, rearranging the slide deck, being prepared for the questions. And I'm extremely happy that you all came in second, and I'm sure you all will do wonders in the years to come.
Anand, Ashish, how do you feel about just give us a quick reflection on what was it like working with the Schulich students, mentors, and what you're taking away from it?
It was really incredible. Like from the start, how all of the mentors started to guide us was very keen about the place. Like from a minute point, like placement of the decks, what should come first, what should come behind, how you need to answer, and maybe how we can perfect our pitch. I would really say people in the mentor team also took an extra mile to give us their time, space, energy. It's incredible people waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning and like still being there always. And the Pranav's initial set of questions after seeing the deck really helped us, and to be honest we had our answers ready, but it made us much more better, to be honest. And Kanishka's thorough keen to things on placement, and to be honest Atya and Yen, you guys really deserve applaud.
Thank
And
you.
Yen's financial. He was chasing on all the way towards the financial.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you. I hope you don't just stop here and continue your business. Hope you will get success.
Awesome. Thanks, teams. Apasana, would you like a comment on the team?
I think so. It was incredible. Their pitch was incredible. Their mission is incredible. I think so. Tapping into the Indian agricultural sector, it's a need. It's a big need. It's an agricultural based driven country, and it's a massive market to address. And these guys who are at the grassroots levels are not getting the benefits of technology or access to capital, and you're on the right path with that.
Wonderful. Thanks to all of you, and congratulations again. Renan, thanks for joining us today. All right, now we're bringing back Thomas Archer Bada. This is the big moment for the Thomas Bada Future Vision Award. How are you feeling? Are you ready to share this glorious moment?
I am, and I very pleased to announce that the winner of the Thomas Bada Future Award. So that's the $10,000 and the bit of glory as well. It's the winners there is Miami Electric. So congrats to the Miami Electric team.
Amazing. Wonderful. Congratulations, team.
Congratulations,
on
team.
stage. Let's bring you on stage. Let's bring you with your with some of your mentors and some of your students as well too. Shrey will take care of that as we bring everyone forward. And oh, another big giant smile. Love it. Exciting moment for you. What are your thoughts? Let's start with you.
I mean, we honestly did not know a lot about the School of Business before we started and we applied. The journey has been immensely good for us. As I was just talking to our mentors, Shai and Balaji, we have raced before, but our problem never landed well. We were never able to show the global impact that we are going to have. So just the thorough mentorship that Shai, uh, Balaji, then our team, David, Aris, Daniel, and Fizayo, the amount of work they have done on making sure every part of the pitch and every part of the story is rounded off, comes off well, and that too within 6 minutes at the end of the day. Just thank you so much. This is a huge honor for us, honestly.
You so much, team, and everyone here who did their part in organizing this amazing together mission. And looking forward to more collaboration and working together with everyone here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Congratulations to you both. Schulich team, let's get some comments from you on the experience.
Yeah, I definitely like to go. I just think that Priyansh and Sutya are incredibly humble. I think that so much of this journey was due to their ability just to listen and then get right back to work. They took in every bit of feedback, never complaining, never even in the late hours of the night and working at all types of irregular times. They were always willing to listen and learn and adapt. And I think that's one of the skills that's taken them so far. They're both technical people and they had to learn how to be able to communicate really high level, deep tech ideas to people who have never heard about anything before. So when we pushed to make it simpler, they knew that they had to reframe things in their mind to adjust to this audience. And so I'm incredibly proud of them for that because it's such a feat to be able to take that technical brain and with all the brilliance that you have and communicate those ideas. But I think they really have something that's going to change the world, and so they deserve to win truly.
Yeah, just seconding on David's point here as well. I think so. Stuti and Priyansh are very genius people, like very technical. And they've done a really great job on the startup. And I think the journey of our engagement together and working together on this, they have absorbed at such an impressive speed of any advisory, anything that could be touched up on, any improvements that were made. They've done it at a very impressive speed and it was really great on it. And I think they truly, truly deserve this as well. They're super awesome. And really great people to work with as well. I'm an undergraduate student, so this is a pilot program for us coming in. And they've been wonderful, wonderful to work with, and this whole program has been super great. So congratulations to Team Priyansh.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, sorry, Daniel, you're jumping. Apologies.
Sorry. So I think no, I think Ariz and David displayed it beautifully. I think Suti and Priyansh are incredible individuals, very kind and very coachable. I mean, that was one of the biggest skills that I learned from founders, from Priyansh and Suti. They're so coachable, and all the feedback that the Schulich team and the mentors that we gave them, they were very open to it, and they implemented a lot of our feedback, which is amazing to see. And this opportunity that they have is amazing. I'm so excited to see what's in store for these two amazing founders. And I just want to obviously just want to keep on saying congratulations. And I'm so excited for you guys to move forward with this idea.
So as those of you who have been following the journey and the mission know, all the students on the Schulich side have been through an experience being trained by our instructor, Vanessa Remantilla, over the last 60 days, getting ready to go into this week where then they had an intensive approach. And so, David, I'll just ask you to give a quick comment on the class experience and how this and the work with Vanessa and myself prepared you for this.
Yeah, I think it was such great preparation because it was end to end. It's the beginning from storytelling all the way to the final ask. We learned all the different components that go into a really great pitch. And I think for someone who may have no experience with understanding like the layout of a pitch and how to really reach people, you guys really nailed all the points to prepare us in such a short amount of time to set these guys up for success. And it was so fun to watch how everything from what we talked about in class or the stories that you shared with us, Chris, like really came into these moments with the team. All the times that, we were pushed and we were asked questions to go deeper in classroom settings came up in these moments. And it's so funny the turnaround time because you learn it in class and then you have to go apply it and teach it to people so quickly. But I think that's also one of the best ways to learn. And so I think, yeah, truly, as some of the alum talked about as well, it's such a class that I'm going to be recommending to people from here on out because it's experiential. It gets you right into the thick of things and then you get to apply it right away. So truly a transformative class.
Thanks, David. Apasna, your thoughts on the winning team?
My thoughts on the winning team, and can I take a minute to address all three? Because they did an incredible job. As Chelsea said, they were all amazing. So many congratulations to the and Priyansh. You did incredible, and the result says that. But just I want to tell everyone who's there today and all the three founders, when as a judge you come into a competition, you expect that I'm just going to hear pitches. It's always the same. You come with an objective mindset. There'll be structure, there'll be time, but within few minutes, you realize that you're not just hearing business plans, you're hearing dreams that actually have learned how to use spreadsheets. And Together 6.0 was exactly the same for me. These founders, all of them, founders that have turned their belief into blueprints. The beauty is that India may look like a chaos from the outside, but it's a really organized ambition in motion at this time. It's a fast-moving market where opportunity actually doesn't just knock; it pushes the door open and walks in with the pitch deck. And what I love about Together 6.0, a Together platform as such, is that Schulich Startup and Startup India, they're connecting the two worlds. Founders building in India's fast moving markets and mentors here in Canada who understand what it takes to scale globally. Somewhere in the middle of those conversations where the magic lies for me. And today, when we saw these three incredible founders today, each one trying to fix a different part of the world, it was absolutely amazing. For me and the rest of the judges, we all shared the same feeling. Main Electric, proving that renewable energy doesn't need to wait for the future, it is the future. And Future Farming, reminding us that technology is truly meaningful when it touches the lives at grassroots. And Trace Zero, transforming industrial emissions into something value, quite literally turning thin air into opportunity, is incredible. But what stood for me was not just this innovation, it was the intent with each founder had. Every founder here showed up not to impress, but to solve. They spoke with conviction, on their metrics, actually listen, which by the way is very rare. They listen to everything and the impeccable answers. And for me, judging today was not just about scoring, it was about learning, about how bold ideas can travel from lab in Rajasthan to a field in Bihar to a stage in Toronto and still speak the same universal language of purpose. So, every founder who pitched today, congratulations. You already crossed the hardest bridge from thought to action. For me, just remember, keep building, keep questioning, and keep that unreasonable optimism alive because that's what turns startups into stories worth telling. And if you can all do that, still finishing your slides on time, you've basically achieved the founder nirvana for me.
Founder Nirvana. What a perfect set of words to wrap up the competition. Thank you to all of you for being here with us. And Thomas, I just want to say again, thank you for being here with us as our new partner, Friends of Bata, working alongside the Together mission. You've seen these glimpses of these moments here in the presentations and in the celebrations today, in these bright, shining faces that you've lit up. What's going to be really exciting for you, I think, with the Thomas Bata Future Vision Award and your support of the program is when in the next years ahead, you get the opportunity to come back, whether you're here with us in person or we send you some interesting reports and videos to watch to hear the stories of where these companies have gone from here. And this is the part we love. We get these videos that are like raw and heartfelt, and they're speaking to the camera. We get a one pager that's got a whole bunch of, dreams and possibilities and so much technology and invention within them. And then the moment happens where we've trained the students, they all come in the room, the mentors show up, the trainers are there, and the magic happens over the course of the week. This is the magic of the Together mission. And I really think, as I've seen you doing around the world, that teaming up in these ways as entrepreneurs and supporting us across different countries is a way to build friendship and to build the future. And I just want to give you a moment to have a closing thought if you'd like.
Thanks, Chris. Well, it was great to see all this energy and emotion from everybody, and it's so pleasing as well, because I think one of the things that motivates me and that motivates, I think, all of us, is just being able to create these forums to get everybody motivated, excited, and get everybody's knowledge up, get everybody's energy up, right? And bring the best out of everyone. So and it's so great. You see people from all over the world. We all have the same kind of, I think, basic essence, right? And how we are. And so building these things together, learning from one another of our different experiences, our different cultures, is wonderful. And thrilled to be a partner, and really looking forward to, hopefully meeting some of you and spending and seeing what becomes of it. We'll hopefully be celebrating some of these big successes over the next few years.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we can't wait for your visit coming up in 2026. All right, Shrey, with that, we will bring Tanishq back to the stage, and he and I will wrap up and say our thanks. My friend, on behalf of Startup India, your closing thoughts and message to the group.
Yeah, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure being here today, looking at the energy in the room, the conviction in all the founders, and the knack they have to create impact is truly inspiring. It fills me with a lot of optimism that, there are greater solutions planned, there are greater solutions being built every day, and the future is bright, more or less. And I just want to thank Schulich School of Business, the team that is here, and also the team that works tirelessly behind the scene, who are not here, or we have Shrey here as well, who's been operating everything in the back end, keeping everything together for us. So a big thanks to everyone in the Schulich team for organizing this and working tirelessly, all the mentors, York University, the Consulate General of India in Toronto, Canada, Ekonnect, and all the various partners and sponsors of the event. I would like to express my gratitude to our esteemed judges and all the mentors of the program. And lastly, I would just like to congratulate all the participants in the event, not only our three incredible finalists, but everyone who participated in this program. It is great to see the enthusiasm, and I hope we keep building on this momentum, and the Together mission is back next year, even bigger and better. So thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing your words, and thanks for the amazing partnership. It's been like from day one, working with Startup India has been a privilege, but also a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in the background, as you know, building along the way and going on these adventures together. Well, I hope everyone has had a great time today. It was amazing hanging out with all of you. We appreciate all our partners and supporters. I particularly appreciate Shrey for his incredible passion on this project and leading it behind the scenes. He's someone who is fearless in working around the clock on both time zones, and he's been at it for the last 2 weeks in a big way, as all of you know. I hope he gets a good rest, takes a couple days off. I hope everyone in India and in other parts of the world who are wrapping up their day get a great night's sleep. Champions, go to sleep and dream of the future. All of you in the top three, you did incredibly well, did yourselves proud, did your country proud, your schools proud, and all the people who have been supporting and behind you. And Schulich students, what should I say? Get back to class, get back to your work placements, but also congratulations on bringing so much heart and energy and spirit and skill set that you picked up through the Together mission. I'm glad you took the moment to sign up for this class. and to work with Vanessa and I to get through to this moment. Friends, good night, good day. Have a wonderful time, and we will look forward to next year's competition where we will be leaning in and hearing from the finalists this year and what have they accomplished in the year that was ahead, and meeting a whole new batch of students from India and across the Schulich world for Together Mission, Together 7.0. We'll see you then. Good luck.
Cheers.